And his name is Jeff Johns.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, I name dropped him that one time, so I figured,
Unfiltered.
I thought I'd bring it. Yeah.
Of course. Yes, absolutely. I still need to get one of those jerseys.
Ryan, is this still valid?
It is still valid.
Okay, there you go.
It's still
Always
available.
Well, it's still valid.
And
It's
valid.
going to continue to be valid once Rebel Moon comes out.
Got to plug DJ Wart.
Waka waka.
Chicka, chicka, yeah.
Get some shirts. Get some merch.
Great.
Absolutely.
shirts.
Yeah.
And then there's me. I don't have a fancy logo to show.
No, you got Screen Rant, though.
Okay.
Check out DC United.
Yeah.
We don't have that. Yeah. I still got to. I should probably upload that.
It's a plug.
You
soon.
should.
I
That'd
should,
be
yeah.
great.
I mean,
did
it's still
you-
fresh.
Did you get it going? Oh, you didn't do it.
Next weekend. Next weekend. Yeah. Next
And
weekend
so,
is the
guys,
first.
this is the first cross stream as well. So we have it on my channel, Ryan's channel, the 4Nerds Network, and soon to be DC United.
It should be streaming on DC
Not
United.
the soccer
Ready.
team, but the
Yeah,
channel about
right.
DC fans.
Yes.
For the fans, by the fans.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the 4Nerds. I'm joined by Ryan Zeeverfett of Zeeverfett. I'm joined by Phil Barker of DC
Barker.
United, or is it DC Fans United?
DC United, Eternal Night, whichever to your preference is, but also on the 4Nerds, as you all know.
Eternal DC.
Yeah,
Yes!
Eternal DC. Also, check him out on the Eternal Nights podcast, wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. I don't know where he's actually located, but still, I know he's on
You got it.
Spotify.
You
So,
got it.
and then we're also joined by our special guest nerd, which is Brad. Is it Curran?
Curran. I go with
Curran.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I fucked that up already.
Yeah,
Brad
Curran,
Curran
but with
of
an N.
Screen Rant. What's going
Princess
on, Brad?
Leia.
What, man?
Princess Leia, you must contact me.
I get it.
I'm C-3PO.
That's why I told a girl one time. I said, "You must contact me." I never heard from her.
He
ever
never
again.
heard
And
from
that's probably why you never heard from her again.
So what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the 4Nerds. So right when I thought, okay, so I did a stream not too long ago, the other day, with both Ryan
Monday.
and Phil.
Yep.
On Monday, thank you. And I'm like, well, there's not much news right now, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about Loki and Ahsoka. Well, Ryan hadn't seen Ahsoka, so we touched on Loki and talked more about Ahsoka and Star Wars. Well, today we have the benefit of an article that dropped yesterday by Variety, which basically opened up a whole can of worms and a bunch of shit about DC. And there's also a lot of news about Marvel as well, including one show that we've all been anticipating for a while, which is Daredevil Born Again. That one may have been the most appalling story, where I was just like, wow, really? It's really going to go this way? In fact, I would say Daredevil is going the way, it feels like it's going the way of Blade. Where it's just,
dear
it's
God!
just falling
Knock
apart.
knock
no.
on wood with
Either
that
Blade
one,
or
man.
Spawn.
Spawn,
Well,
exactly.
Well,
I mean,
Spawn hasn't even gotten off the ground at all.
I'm telling you right now, when Phil
Spawn's
read that
running
story about Daredevil Born Again, this was him in front of his computer.
I was at work, okay? I was at work when that article dropped, and I was like, holy fucking... I sent it to Brad. I was like, holy fucking shit. What is going on
How is he
here?
the new Tony Stark?
Yeah, no, it's I saw that a little bit before Phil shared that with me, and it was a real. It's like back-to-back days this week. We've gotten pretty less than thrilling DC and Marvel news, and
Right.
I mean, God knows what's going to hit us tomorrow if the trend keeps up.
But you know what? At least it's news. So let's go to some news right now. If I pull it up right. There it is. Secret
There it is.
Invasion had Kyle Bradstreet working on the scripts for a year until he was fired.
Who's that?
Apparently the writer of the show.
It was
during
credited as the writer, yeah.
Never heard of him.
well, that means this is, I know, it's like
Don't care.
during production, it was weeks of people erupting
At each other, and
erupting at each other and vying for supremacy. A good portion of the team on the series was then replaced. So it was like a secret invasion, but in real life with the writers. So now that they've all been paid, they're all back, working again. But this sounds like a huge shit show that was happening behind the scenes of Secret Invasion. It may have been why the show itself was a shit show, in my opinion. Secret Invasion. I mean, Phil, what do you make of this news about Secret Invasion?
It's
I'm so glad I called on you. I'm so glad I called on you.
We've seen, like, clearly we've seen the end result of what happened with Secret Invasion. I'm a little more lenient on it than you were, but like, man, you read something like this, you're like, wow, how does Marvel go from having their shit together and getting stuff done on time, making it look decent, depending on what project you're talking about, to this? It's like, whoa. This is nonetheless. You have your lead in Samuel L. Jackson, then you've got people behind the scenes just vying for supremacy. Literally, as you said, it is a secret invasion happening behind the scenes for Secret Invasion, and that's probably why the show ultimately suffered.
You know, also one thought I had too when I read that was
What's that?
One of them was and this might sound a little melodramatic, but it was like poor Emilia Clarke. Because think about like first you had the Game of Thrones finale that everybody loved so much,
Terminator,
and
Terminator.
Yeah. Well, that relates to that because a lot of what's said.
Let's forget about Terminator. That was
well the way the production, the way that the Secret Invasion production is described here, it really reminded me of like the way she described how Terminator Genesis went, where they said where she described it as like one thing she said was that crew members they produce they commissioned T-shirts to say at least we're not working on Fantastic Four. Which which made me think like, yeah, it's like, what the hell was going on that made them prefer that to Fan-4-Stick?
Good God, that's bad.
That is bad.
That's all bad because Fantastic Four was a shit show in its own right too. Fan-4-Stick.
Yeah,
that's a movie that they should have just canceled it. They should have just took a write-off. And so a part of me thinks that, like, when it comes to Batgirl, it's like, hey, that wasn't a bad move, but I don't know. I don't think it was as bad as Fan-4-Stick. They didn't have all the drama happening behind the scenes.
Michael Keaton didn't save the DC universe.
No, he didn't save it.
No, someone is suing WB though for permanent.
Yeah, for an injury. Yeah.
I remember that when that they reported that when the stunt actress had the accident and really fucked her up. Imagine, obviously, yes, she got paid, and that's perfect. That's great. She should get paid. But imagine being that stunt person, what do you call it? Stunt actor, and you got injured, and that affected the rest of your life, and then the movie got canceled. You're like, fuck, really? All that, and I can't even watch the damn scene.
Time though, there's a lot of movies that they get shot. And they end up, and they go to the cutting room floor, and they end up on the shelf, and they're shelved for life. Well,
and because I've interviewed a lot of stunt people, and I mean, not to make light of her injury, but like one attitude of a lot of people in the stunt industry, stunt coordinators, stunt people, what have you, they're a lot of their perspective on is, I mean, they know they're going to get hurt, in a myriad of different ways, and their idea is that, well, if we're going to get hurt, let's at least get it on camera. Mm-hmm. So, and you have something like this where it's like, with Batgirl, it's like you get that injury and the setting insult to injury on that, where it's like you went through that, the blood, sweat, and tears and that life altering injury for it, and whatever it produced, that doesn't even see the light of day now. Which again, not to diminish the importance of the injury itself, but having talked to a lot of stunt people, interviews, things like that, it's like that you see that attitude a lot, where it's like they accept that they're going to experience a level of pain and things like that. But
they sign contracts, they sign waivers.
You better believe it.
Oh yeah. I mean, how many bones? I mean, Jackie Chan doesn't have a single bone in his body left to break at this point.
True.
And that's one of the things. Like, if you watch like Rumble in the Bronx, or you watch like Super Cop, it's always fun. This is kind of gross, but it's kind of fun to watch after in the end credits. When fucked up. You're like,
one of my favorite ones is in Rumble in the Bronx when he sprains his ankle and he has the cast on and he puts the sock that's painted like a sneaker over his cast, so he can keep going.
Keep going, man.
I just watched that recently. Horrible movie, but great action.
Which one?
Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I watched.
Great
I was like, holy shit! Because I saw it in the theaters in the '90s, and I was like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. He's like doing all these stunts and all that. But then I watched it, and I was like, the acting is horrible. Everything is horrible.
We don't contractually. You're not allowed to talk about that. The scene we cut.
What you're saying about Rumble the Bronx, I mean, there's parts in it where it takes place in New York, but they've got like the mountains of Vancouver in the background, so it's like you kind of have to accept like that side of it, but I mean, it's Jackie Chan like doing what he
Yeah,
does
I think
best,
that
so.
was his first big one in the U.S.
Yeah, it was. It
Rumble
was
in the
his
Bronx.
Yeah.
US.
It was
dubbed too. I think it was dubbed.
It was
Yeah,
done.
it was his pre-rush hour,
Pre-rush
stateside
That was his
breakout.
coming out. His
Shanghai
coming out
Nights.
party.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Super Cop.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so we have that about Secret Invasion. It makes sense because I mean, honestly, when you watch Secret Invasion, it just felt like a big mess the entire time, and the story was convoluted. It felt.
The end battle was
I think-
very.
I think the
underwhelming.
first 3 episodes had strengths and they were stronger than the last 3, but I definitely
Mhm.
think there's a major dip in quality once you get to the finale. Like
Well,
from
Absolutely.
episode 4 to
What-
6,
what-
it just
What
gets
Phil's saying is that it builds intrigue. Is it was very interesting situations that they were setting up, but
yes.
there was no payoff. There was no. They didn't really go further into it. You know, they didn't. It could have. It could have gone even further and sort of like bled into the rest of the universe. Like who the fuck is who, right?
Right.
Like, but it was like no, it's gonna be self-contained, and then at the end we're just gonna have her
But see-
become
Yeah,
metamorphic.
I doubt any of this is even going to get addressed at all in the Marvels, considering that's where
True.
There you go. It's better comments.
that's what that's what did it for Phil. He was like, "Fuck it."
But that seems to be kind of what's been going on with the MCU. And, it seems like they're pretty good at like building up shit lately, and then they just fall flat when it comes to the payoff. I mean, obviously for me, a big one was WandaVision, and then since
here's
then,
Marvel holding the ball. Here's Marvel holding the ball at the end of the season.
exactly, it's like they just dropped the ball, and it could be that they're having issues in the writers' room. But either way, it's poor management, it's poor planning. And then on top of that, you get movies like Shang-Chi, which I liked. I like Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I love Shang-Chi. Yeah,
But where has
was
he
fun,
been? Where
but it
has he
wasn't
been? He's been nowhere.
exactly.
Groundbreaking.
Well, I mean, you would think that he would, at least pop up in some kind of like background cameo.
Yeah,
in,
the more.
you know,
not
Well, they
more,
paid homage to him in Blue Beetle. They had the bus scene.
oh god.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
he should have been.
Oh, by the way, I need to get this out right now because I am adamant about this theory. Referring to the bus scene, Shang-Chi, the part when they have the bus fight scene and the
yeah.
the garbage truck kind of helps guide the bus to stopping,
Yeah.
and she looks across at the guy driving the garbage truck.
About
I'm
Aquafina.
I'm adamant about this. That would have been the Stan Lee cameo.
Probably.
Probably.
Sure.
Wouldn't doubt
Now,
it, yeah.
a bigger question: do you think that she was named after the drink, or the drink was named after her?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like
Oh.
Which came first? I don't know.
Before.
You know
Chicken
what
or
would
the
make
egg?
sense? If Shang-Chi had shown up in some capacity in Multiverse of Madness. Because
Sure.
Wong
Yeah.
meets him
Yeah.
at the end of
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Where are
It's
these
like,
fucking like walk-on cameos?
What the fuck?
Like, oh shit!
It's
there he
almost
is in the
like they
fucking
felt
coffee
like,
shop.
hey, you know what? We're doing too many cameos. Let's just not do it at all anymore. But the problem is that look, the Eternals. We watched that movie. I haven't seen them since. Shang-Chi. Haven't seen him since. Who else is
You
there?
saw him, didn't you saw him at the end of Doctor Strange?
Who?
you know, it's really going to be unfortunate.
What's her face?
If Eternals is the only
Oh,
time Mahershala Ali is in a fucking Marvel
I
movie.
forget her
Oh
name.
damn! And
She's
that
at
and
the
that,
end.
and that
She's in the end credits.
and there is a there
forget
is
her
a
name.
there is a not negligible possibility of that at this
Yeah,
point.
I
That
know.
was Blade's development.
But
Yeah, that's
my
gonna be
thing
a
is this:
shit
is
thing.
that the MCU isn't bred on, creating content that interconnects with one another, right? And the problem is that every
John
movie
Voight's
they made,
daughter. What's her name? What is her fucking
Charlize
name?
Theron?
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. Yeah, so she was at the end of Doctor Strange.
oh yeah, but
And
still,
so
I-
the
No.
Eternals, she was there.
It wasn't
But even
Angelina
then-
Jolie, it was Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, really?
yeah,
Yes.
she was. It was Charlize
Wait,
Theron.
yeah, but she's not John Voight's daughter. So I think we're
She's
kind of
not.
crossing the streams there.
No.
Just driving around in John Voight's car.
His best role was Anaconda.
Oh, but he was pretty good in Anaconda.
Did you guys see that episode of Seinfeld when George bought a car and then the manual inside said John Voight? He's like, it used to belong to John Voight. And he's like, yeah, but John Voight doesn't spell his name with an H. Well, maybe he misspelled it.
No,
It's a funny
he had
episode.
a great car. They had, you may remind me just now because there was another great car related episode where right at the beginning some guy steals Jerry's car and they call the cell phone in the car Like, did you just steal my car? Yes, I did. Can I have it back? It's like, no, I'm going to keep it.
It's not a palm tree drug; it's a pot plant.
Yeah, it's a cannabis.
Yeah,
RJ writes, Matt Baloney, editor-in-chief and founder of Puck News, is now saying that the SAG strike talks today with the studio did not go very well, which is not a good thing to hear. And hopefully that's not true, but if that's true, that's not good. That's not
News? Is that the founder from that guy from the Real World?
No, Puck News is it's a group of writers that used to work for like the other outlets, like a Hollywood Reporter and all that shit, and they came together to form their own outlet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like I can't, I mean, that's kind of grapevine talk what he's talking about. I mean, if that's true, I mean, that'll come out in due time if the SAG strike didn't go well today. But I mean, that's disheartening to hear, especially because I mentioned to Phil offline previously. I would hate for Rebel Moon and Aquaman 2 to come out and for the cast not to be able to promote it, because particularly in light of one thing we'll be talking about tonight, because I would mind Jason Momoa have a chance to maybe fire back.
Yeah, I heard down the grapevine that this SAG strike very well could lead into January, which would be very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
suck. And because I had previously speculated that this strike, could last a whole year. I mean, obviously that didn't happen with the WGA strike. That's over now. Right. But you add if you're extrapolating that in terms of like the WGA and SAG strikes together, it's again WGA starts at the beginning of May. If that goes into January, I mean that's close to a whole year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're talking about the different Marvel TV shows, right? And so when we get to that, there's also this bit of news that came out today.
Breaking news.
Where it says Marvel Studios plans to make changes in how it makes TV following internal criticism. Shows will now have proper showrunners that write pilots and show Bibles. A focus on multi-season serialized TV rather than limited series. I think that you can do that with some characters. Yeah. That will help kind of build up those characters. And I think maybe that's what they were doing with Daredevil. We'll get to that in a second too, but
it's weird how all this Marvel stuff is like building up to like the hot tamale at the top.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like Moon Knight was the latter, the limited series, because he doesn't fucking connect to shit.
Well, Phil.
Again.
I'm glad
Moon Knight been?
I'm glad he brought up Moon Knight, because apparently Jeremy Slater fucking quit Moon Knight, and that's why Mohamed Diab got the job for producing all that shit. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense.
I thought of that because after some of the comments he made the other day, I thought, oh yeah, I bet Phil's gonna be all on top of this one.
The actor strike, or Anthony Beltray writes, the actor strike needs to end by the end of this month. Studios are going to lose money without these actors promoting their movies.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like there's what during the strike has led you to think that any of the suits are basing their decisions on logic?
Not worried. Right, they're not worried. As long as they have their investors, they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. RJ writes, Secret Invasion was so bad and such a horrible production that Marvel had to do soul searching and completely change their philosophy when it comes to TV and streaming. About damn time. Now, I agree that it is about damn time, because I'm not happy with how they've been handling their Marvel TV shows. I mean, look, I'll say to this day, I thought that up until the finale, I thought that WandaVision was their strongest show, and then the finale just shit all over the entire show. I was like, oh my god! And then Falcon and Winter Soldier, I thought it was all right. It was good.
Was Moon
Falcon and Winter Soldier was consistently consistent.
Yes,
in terms of what it wanted to do.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't over the top good. It was just good. I was like, all right, I'm fine with that. Loki was probably the best show that
Loki's been the best show. I'm sorry.
Loki has been the standout.
And then Moon Knight as well. Moon Knight was really good. It was entertaining. Yeah, it was kind of mind bending, and I really liked that.
It did nothing for the universe overall, but it was an interesting show that you could enjoy multiple, viewings.
It's a shame the showrunner's kind of a dickhead, though.
They need to hire real writers, not ones Kevin can control. The problem too is this: is that
you know what? That I can't. That is tough because he's the head. He's the head. It's not a matter of
to have control over what's happening.
Like he is the one who
control. You must learn control.
He's the one who set the fucking roadmap. These people
Remember
come
your failure
in
at the cave.
These people come in knowing full well, like they are operating under a giant fucking machine run by him. So they kind of have to adhere to what he is laying out. I'm sorry, but say that.
Right.
like to say that he shouldn't have control. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all.
What do you guys think about this? Shows will have proper showrunners that
Good.
write pilots, fine.
Yes, you
and
need-
show
and a Bible.
Bibles.
And a Bible.
Yes, I
Good.
believe in the Bible,
Good.
and I believe in the showrunner. You need to have order. You need to have
When you
structure.
go into
You can't just be like fucking Last Jedi and come in and just fucking ruin shit because you want to do something different or whatever. You need to have some plan. You need to have to execute it.
Well, also a lot of it
And accountability for that.
Yeah, and also like a lot of the reporting that came out of this that was relating to the Marvel shows, like one little tidbit that kind of stood out to me was it was something to the effect of, we're not going to like find the essence of the show in post production or in the final edit or something like that. It was basically amounted to, it's like, yeah, we're just shooting stuff, we're throw it all on the table in post, and we just toss it all together. That's what it kind of sounded like, and that has, I think, been reflective in things like Secret Invasion. So if they're abandoning that, it's definitely for the best.
Yeah, Secret Invasion was just a train wreck of a show.
Which is unfortunate because it had a lot of potential.
It did, and like I do not hesitate to say this, but I'm sorry, but the Secret Invasion that we saw in Peacemaker was better than the Secret Invasion we saw in Marvel's Secret Invasion. I mean, that's my honest opinion about it. I think it's so much better. It was so much better of a show than Secret Invasion. I would watch Peacemaker over Secret Invasion.
I'd rather
Easily.
not watch either one.
No, easily I would watch.
I don't need to see either one again. I'll just put it that way.
I might just put on the Snyder Cut in lieu of him.
And speaking of the Snyder Cut, we do have some more news right. So Dan Harmon reveals he met with Zach about a Rick and Morty movie. According to Harmon, Snyder once summoned him to Warner Brothers to discuss. He was just like, is there any way I can help get that movie started by using my Snyderness?
100%.
What do you guys think of the possibility, at least, of a Zack Snyder Rick and Morty?
One thing I'm not fully clear on. Did they give, like, was this recently or was this like within the last few years or something?
I mean, I guess I can pull the article up. I don't dig into that.
It had to have been when he was at Warner Brothers. So this was clearly a few years ago. So I think personally, like, let him do it. Like, we've seen what he's capable of in terms of like animation. We've seen what he's capable of in terms of tone, in terms of direction. Like, I think if anyone was going to make a fucking badass Rick and Morty movie, probably him.
Yeah, no. And then did they stipulate this was going to be? Was he going to transfer it to live action? Was it still going to be animated? It doesn't sound like it, but I mean, either way, it's like, yeah, he would. I think he'd probably kill it. So
I could see Snyder doing a blend, like having some of it take place in animation.
Oh, imagine if he did like Rick, like a cool world version of Rick and Morty. I could see Zach doing that.
Yeah, that'd be slick. I don't know, Andre. What do you think?
I think it'd be really cool. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Rick and Morty, but I'd be down for that. Anything that Zach does, I'm gonna watch. So
yeah.
And I think that putting someone like him who has a huge footprint within like pop culture, I think that'd be a huge benefit for Rick and Morty.
I could see like one thing I could also really I really envision Zach if he were to do Rick and Morty is it kind of harkens back to me of like when he had his appearance on Teen Titans Go. Because he does not have when he's done like appearances like this or when he was on Stephen Colbert, he does actually, he enjoys like almost lambasting himself. He enjoys lambasting the idea that he's just like the slow-mo guy or the dark and brooding guy. And I think he would probably have a lot of fun with like just kind of leaning into and self-satirizing his own stereotype and just having fun with that. So I would think that Rick and Morty would be like a really good platform for him to do that with.
How does this work in the Snyderverse?
Does this mean that they're selling the Snyderverse to Netflix?
Rick and Morty to Netflix?
No. See, he even that's like he would like sell, restore, all that. It's like he would probably put a lot of humor in there, referencing all of that within something like this.
Absolutely.
If you don't, I don't know. It's just when I see Rick and Morty, all I see is Back to the Future. That's all I.
Well,
see.
I mean, that's kind of that's the basis.
I get it. I get it. It's the point. But yeah, that's all I see.
And then, branching off of that, there was some of the big news.
Oh yes,
the week.
What?
None of the Justice League stars from the DCEU will return to reprise their roles in James Gunn's DCEU.
Gal Gadot said, and I quote,
Oh my God.
that James Gunn and Peter Safran are working hand in hand with her on Wonder Woman 3. I don't want your money. I want Aquaman.
Did you voice that one yourself, Ryan?
I did. That was
okay.
My son made that because I did that in a podcast. He was like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to do that." So that's my son's clip. He loved it.
Yeah, I wasn't fully clear on that, but it's an awesome line.
Here's the thing when it comes to this. So a lot of us saw this. A lot of us tweeted this out with our own take on it.
We don't tweet. God, it's not fucking
post
tweet.
it out.
We post. Whatever the hell it's called now.
We X.
But see,
we
Twitter
X.
X. Twitter
we
X.
X.
We X.
We X. My whole thing is that this is a good thing. I mean,
I believe
honestly,
so.
look.
I believe so.
Are there going to be characters that were used
But
in the
what's so
DCEU?
funny is they make this announcement and Aquaman 2 still has yet to come out.
Well,
They don't care.
that's something that
It
Phil
will not
was-
reprise his role.
That's
Aquaman
something
2
Phil was
won't.
really taking issue with was like go ahead, like take, because I know your feelings on it, so go ahead and take the floor on that, Phil.
Here's how I feel about this.
Okay, well,
Shit. No shit. We've been done known this shit, okay? Soon as The Flash flopped, everyone knew Ezra Miller wasn't coming back. As soon as Shazam flopped, everyone knew Shazam wasn't coming back, but it's not like he was part of the fucking Justice League to begin with, okay?
It was not.
Ben Affleck has said multiple times, I'm done. Henry Cavill got the fucking boot when James Gunn said, I'm making a new Superman movie. Aquaman, fucking Aquaman, right? Like, there's conflicting things going on there. Same with Wonder Woman. Peter Safran has said, oh yeah, we're going to give Jason Momoa a trilogy. But now, apparently, for the last couple months, it's now hard confirmed, oh fuck, he might be Lobo. And Wonder Woman, man, I don't even know what to fucking think. She's either getting
Shazam
jerked around
too?
or someone's fucking lying. I don't know, dude. But this is, to me, this is old news resold again.
It is
Absolutely,
It is.
absolutely
It is.
old
Well,
news. And this is the thing too. Like when it comes to Wonder Woman and the comments that she made, right? It's kind of like here's the thing. Is like
She's just being.
they're having conversations with the talent, like with Ben Affleck, like with Wonder Woman, and he's telling everybody, well, she told everybody, yeah, we had a conversation about it, blah, 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 blah. But that's just a conversation. He had a conversation with Ben Affleck. He probably said, we'd love you to direct. He probably said, yeah, I think it depends on the project, but hey, nice talking with you. See you later. And then later on, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to direct anything.
He's like,
anything for them."
absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But and that's
Look,
the thing.
I'm-
It's like there's
it's
a bit
all
of
about- it's all
cordialness
about,
going
like, when
on
you
one on
interview-
one.
Honestly,
Right, when you get interviewed or you interview somebody and they're going to be cordial, right? Like we said this about Zach, like, hey, what do you think about working with so-and-so? Like Zach's not going to be like, no, fuck that guy. I'm never going to work with
Well,
that
even-
guy.
Well,
Because
maybe
you're
Joss
just
Whedon.
Juan.
Look, even Patty
Yeah,
Jenkins was
gonna
like,
work
yeah,
with James
no hard
Bond?
feelings.
Like, what?
Thanks. like even Patty Jenkins was like, yeah, no worries, no hard feelings, thanks, whatever. But like again, like you guys have been saying, it's all nothing but cordial. And at the same time, I'm kind of with Andre in that, you know what? Good. They don't need to deal with any more of this fucking bullshit. Bring in a whole new cast of crew to deal with some of this.
They
Absolutely.
get none of these characters get any respect for the roles that they're portraying. Even
But here's the
Gal
thing.
Gadot at the end of the day, because
Here's
Wonder Woman
another. You
84,
know what? Ryan just brought up a really good point because I've seen
What's that?
so many people just absolutely be superbly spiteful about this. Just like,
Oh, hell
Yay! We're finally getting a Flash that looks like
Yeah.
the Flash. Aquaman's gonna be blonde again.
It's
I'm
like
like, shut the
these
fuck
guys
up.
they're just actors. They're
just
just
actors.
They're thespians that are hired to play a role. And they a lot of people just like to dog them or whatever for based off of nothing. Like, I didn't prefer this. Okay, well, good. I didn't prefer fucking Bana as fucking Incredible Hulk, but I don't bash the guy.
Eric
I don't fucking bash Ang Lee because I thought what he did, some of the things were actually interesting when he did some of those panel shots or
Yeah,
whatever. That
that
was
was
cool.
cool.
Well, those were
But
cool.
the
Yeah.
movie overall just wasn't for me. I liked the Edward
You
Norton
don't-
Incredible Hulk better.
You don't.
But
see any
I'm
of us
not going to
sitting here
bash
taking a-
Ang Lee and fucking Eric Bana for their efforts.
You don't see any of us sitting here taking a dump all over Brandon Routh for trying to emulate Christopher Reeve.
I
I loved when he came back in Crisis.
wish-
I thought he was my favorite character on
What would've been-
Crisis.
and this was my dream, is if they fucking did a Henry Cavill Doomsday thing and they did it outright, I would have loved for Brandon Routh to come in as either the Eradicator or fucking Cyborg Superman
That'd be dope.
against
Oh, yeah, it would be
Henry
cool.
Cavill Superman.
Yeah.
And that would have been
Hold on,
fucking dope
hold
because
on.
it's
That
like,
would've been dope.
well, no wonder people got confused about who's who, and that's
Well,
that's
yeah.
fucking awesome. But nobody. Gee, okay.
Well, so okay, now I want to go ahead and share, which we did break this down last night on Sci-Fi Center, and I'm gonna try to condense a lot of that hour and a half discussion as best as I can. So a couple of things with this, and first of all, a lot of our focus was very much on, and anybody who haven't seen the stream, it's up on Sci-Fi Center. William, I think what he titled it something like another variety masterpiece, something like that. But we like one of the things, and a lot of the focus was very much on like why, like what's the. This didn't seem to be tethered or catalyzed by any specific like anything in particular. So, like here's an article about behind the scenes DC stuff. It's like what was the need for this to come out on this specific time? We know, like the previous one she did on the bots, we know why that came out when it did, because the movie was hit digital release the very next day. So that was one thing we really kind of were scratching our heads on it. But also, there's also talk about it. And it's like Jason Momoa, potentially being Lobo in James Gunn's DCU. And this is where I look at this from a lot of the other side of the story, or the other side, or the other perspective on in terms of whether or not this is good, bad. And I'm still looking at this very much like I don't think the studio and a lot of people realize just how the shadow of what Zack established is going to continue to haunt DC because of the circumstances of how this has all come about. And because of things like, even if, Jason, even if he is going to be Lobo rather than Aquaman for James Gunn, you're still putting Zack Snyder's Aquaman back at people's faces. Yes. Same with like characters like Waller and Peacemaker, right, who were connected or interacted with his characters. So you're still putting reminders actively in front of people that, oh, by the way, we're starting something new, but we didn't end the original universe especially with the blueprint that's already up.
You're still going to have that divide of people who are fans of Jason Momoa, fans of Viola Davis.
Yep.
And because I like her. I think she did
I love her
great. She could be she has the potential to be a fucking phenomenal, fantastic Waller. But what they did with her in Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad
did not.
You mean she gets knocked out with a golf club?
Make the distinction. It's the Suicide Squad.
Right. The Suicide Squad. What they did with her in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, that was out of character. That was not the Amanda Waller that I know from. Even it wasn't even the Amanda Waller I know from the Batman the Animated Series, or Justice League or Batman Beyond.
Look, I'll say this about this whole not going to reprise their role. It's a good thing, because if they did, then you would have had somebody else. These characters would have been under someone else's regime, and you would have had them represented. They never would have lived up to our expectations. You saw them in The Flash. You saw them in Shazam. It was never going to live up to our expectations. You think James Gunn want to take that on and be like, yeah, I'll use the same characters, and I'll just make more stories? No, because it will never be the same. Yeah. And now you have fans that are either hate it or love it. So let's just start over again, which I agree. He should recast the entire Justice League. Now, I swear to God, the fact that people were like, oh, this is great, that means that, like, now the Snyderverse can be restored on Netflix. If I hear one more person say the word fucking sell and Netflix, I'm going to fucking drop them with the right. I swear to God, it's like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I'm so sick of hearing that shit.
I'm going to hashtag that right now.
I'm so sick of hearing that shit, because guess what? It's not going to happen. You're not getting your fucking Snyderverse on fucking Netflix or on Amazon. You're not going to have Universal buying fucking WB and restoring the Snyderverse. We're lucky if we get an animation. We're lucky if we're going to get a fucking graphic novel. But that's not good enough, because you want live action. But you don't give a shit about the logistics that takes to get that done. And it's honestly, like, just shut the fuck up.
I'll say this much. God. Like, if the rumor is true that Amanda Waller is going to be in Superman Legacy, I'm going to tell you guys
that was mentioned in the article.
It's going to be real fucking awkward for a lot of people who actually like Black Adam and saw the ending of that movie, and now they see her talking to this brand new Superman. It's going to be like,
and you're making my point there, Phil, where it's like because I'm a little bit from the other end from what Andre is saying. It's like it's again. I think they're really underestimating just how much the scar that began in 2017 has still not. Oh God, Andre or Droga, you are just.
Oh, the sharpening.
The man is sharpening.
And what's so fucking funny about that shit? Me and fucking Andre clapped on this motherfucker so hard that one day because it was the funniest fucking shit we ever saw, and at the time, and this is a mobile fucking sharpening truck. It's a mobile truck.
You guys just have to stay in your lane, don't you know?
It's so fucking stupid. And not only that, but that same dumb motherfucker was like recently, not like a few months ago, put out this thing saying, "Yeah, I've been asked to submit a pitch to host the next fucking what was it called?
The Zack Snyder the
Full Circle." I was
Full
like,
Circle,
"Are you on fucking crack?" It's like, get the
I think
fuck
he
outta
was
here.
because he was picketing outside of a bank, and I think the cops were alerted, and he had to go.
But I'm telling you, it's shit like that that I'm just
dressed
like,
up,
dude,
and
shut
they were
the
like,
fuck up.
I've fucking seen that Patrick Swayze movie. These motherfuckers ain't stealing from our bank.
That's what it is. It's like,
Point
can
break.
we just talk about the news as it's reported and give our opinion on it, not create the news as we see fit and try and will it into existence? That doesn't happen, and it's unrealistic.
Yes.
And all that does is it just gives people false hope. I'm so
Correct.
sick of hearing that shit.
Correct.
That's
And
one
look-
thing that these people try to bank on so hard, and it's
that's
not
what
just
it is.
it's not just the low levels like this dude. It's the upper echelon. It's the fucking variety. It's all these motherfuckers out there that put these comingsoon.net whatever is out there. They fucking try to bank on your fucking hope.
They don't try to bank on it. They prey on it outright.
Ryan, why don't you read this one?
The goalpost has already been has
Oh,
already
guys, I'll be
moved
right
to
back.
Universe, buying
Okay.
Warner Brothers and restoring the Snyderverse. It's not happening. If new owners in Warner Brothers Discovery bought the old Warner Brothers and didn't restore the Snyderverse, why would Universal? Well, because
If
Universal is working on their own universe, the Dark Universe. We're trying to restore that.
If
I think it's really
anybody
funny.
takes over DC Studios, right? Let's say James Gunn gets ousted, like people are fucking saying, which is not going to happen. Let's say that happens, right? And they bring in some other schmuck, okay? Let's say they bring in Ryan.
I'm
Or
not a
Dan
schmuck. Fuck you.
They bring in just some other executive who they feel can lead DC Studios, right? You think he's going to be like, hey, guys, let's get Zack Snyder back in here and let's do the fucking...
Never
No!
again. And also,
He's going to say, I'm going to do my own shit.
right. Well, also, a lot of these characters, or a lot of these people have sort of aged out of the availability role because, you got fucking Ben Affleck that's in his 50s now. You've got Henry Cavill that's in his late 30s, early 40s. Gal Gadot's already been through 3 children, which is fine. It's great. She's doing an amazing job, physically.
Has
But I'm
nothing
just
to do
saying,
with it.
like these actors and actresses are older than they can, like, they want younger people so
Well-
that they can have a longevity.
And then in
RJ's right. Whoever buys it is going to want to do their own thing. Go ahead, Phil.
Sure.
And in Ray Fisher's case, you have to imagine he's absolutely not going to want to work with anyone that has any ties to any of the old Warner Brothers regime.
Look,
He's
here's the
made
thing
that
with-
clear.
And when it comes to Ray Fisher,
Yeah, back.
the fucking writing was on the wall. He fucking saw it, and that's why he did what he did. Because he's like, this shit's never gonna be the way it
Sure.
used to be.
Sure.
As much as the fans wanted you, as much as we all campaigned for it, push for it. He knew. He read the writing was on the wall. He was like, dude, this is never gonna go. It's never gonna be what it
Writing
was
was on the wall.
back then. So at this point, I'm gonna stay on my ground.
Yeah.
And stick to my guns because shit's not gonna change.
And
Gonna
honestly,
stick to his gun.
honestly,
James
look,
Gunn.
if you guys want the Snyderverse, watch Rebel Moon, watch Army of the Dead, watch
Rebel
any
Moon
film,
Part 2.
or Rebel Moon Part 2, right?
The
Like, watch-
the
watch
Norseman thing coming out.
When's
That's
that? When do we
another
get-
one.
have we got a
Another
date on
one.
that yet?
No,
No, of course
Okay.
not.
no. But,
But I mean,
seriously, like,
there's a lot of stuff to consume that is Snyder and to
right.
be happy with.
It's
Look,
like that,
he's
that is his fucking multiverse. You've
Sure.
got Watchmen, you've got 300, you've got all 3 of the films that he did in DC. You've got Owls, you've got fucking Snow Steam Iron. Like, literally anything in his catalog, Snyderverse. Anything he continues to make, Snyderverse. I'm with Andre. Like, if people are so fucking adamant about, oh, sell it to Netflix, why the fuck would Netflix spend all that money to try and get all these characters? It's not feasible. It's not reasonable. I had the same conversation with someone at Full Circle. The most reasonable thing anyone could ask for at this point is to have Zack Snyder's Justice League released in IMAX so the world can fucking see just how great and beautiful that experience is. That's it.
I'm telling you right now, if you watch it in IMAX, it's fucking mind blowing.
Yes.
Yeah, God, it's like and
Phil and I got the
am
opportunity
I
to do that.
Did you, Ryan? Were you there?
No, I wasn't. I
Okay.
actually
Okay, so
showed up in California months later when it was
Months
cheaper. for me.
later. Yeah.
So I'm not the only person here tonight who has not seen it theatrically.
I have not seen it theatrically, only on my big screen.
Which by the way, it's, I mean, for anybody at Warner Bros. Listening right now, because Dune Part 2 did have to move because of the strike, there is now a vacant spot on, of all days, November 17th this year. Just saying.
They won't do it though. They won't because they know if they
because
do,
it would create
it's going to drum up more. Release the Snyder Cut or restore the Snyderverse. You know what I mean? And they don't want
in a time of quote unquote trying to rein people into this new, or just accepting James Gunn's plan. That just can't happen. That can't happen until they're ready to release the Ayer cut. On streaming.
Why would
Because
James
at that point,
Gunn
it'd be done.
do that? Because he is de facto head of DC Studios when he is trying to get his own universe off the ground.
Right.
But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, it's and what you said about, because there is talk in this article that one of the cast, like Momoa Lobo might be in Superman Legacy, and yeah, and Amanda Waller might be, and again, this is where I look at it a little bit differently. Right? There's so with players connected to this cast, and with other elements that he's even said, it's like
muddies the water.
Yeah, he's like you are still putting these reminders, so it's like you are inviting people. Which Project Justice League is awesome. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's like true story, guys. I mean, a little sentimental here after, because I wasn't at Full Circle, but I watched the Q&As and I played the movies, as each day was going on. And after the third one, it's like I gotta finish this somehow. So I played Project Justice League after, because it's like I wanted to feel
that
like
was our Mr. Holland's opus.
Yeah, so I had
to.
So.
It's the closest thing you'll get to a conclusion.
It's the closest.
It's like I would say all like that, and for the things that are presently made, the things that you can go like right now and see. There's that, and if you haven't seen Apocalypse War, the anime movie, that's also. It's not like
and something you can look forward to is
it's not. It's. Oh God! I lost my train of thought here. What was I saying?
Apocalypse War is
awesome.
Yeah, and but before that, what was I saying?
Project Justice League is awesome.
Yeah, before that,
watch Project Justice
League. I got to take like 5 steps back. Yeah.
You're talking about carrying over
the muddy the waters, and even he had said, even Gunn has said, and that's actually something else I want to kind of touch upon a bit here too. But Gunn, one thing he has said, there are going to be characters carrying over. Their history might be consistent with what you've seen before. Thank you, Alejandro. But and again, that leads when you have that. You're asking when you're doing that, and you're asking people to put this all in the past as you're reminding them of the past.
Yes.
So that's where I say it's okay. You want people to stop hashtagging and asking for this as you are continually dangling reminders of it in front of their faces. What's wrong with this picture? That's where I come from when I say it's like I don't think people really grasp like how this scar that has started. I call it a scar because that's what it is. That started that started in 2017. How much it has not healed, and how much they have not reconciled with the fact that it's still lingering. That it's not, that it's still going. That the wounds have not healed. And
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Like when Andre and I were doing Project Justice League, we were talking about the prospect of what was going to go on with James Gunn, and we were like, yeah, I know, I think he should do a complete reboot, and but also we were like, yeah, it would be a complete reboot, but yet he did that the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker show, and that has already been released, and it had it has its own fan base, it has people that like that stuff, right? And so he's going to cherry pick what he likes and what he doesn't like. And it does muddy the water. It does make it harder to, get people to sort of like, jump on board with, because we were both talking, we were like, it would be better, or it would be best, or it would be in his best interest to sort of start from scratch and just start casting people that have never had the role before, and therefore it doesn't have that, I don't want to say stench, but it doesn't have that residue of the previous iteration of the character or of the universe.
Well, and this might sound a little harsher than I intended to sound, but specifically like Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, like members of that sticking around, it's hard for that to not create the perception of that what he has established is it's a reboot, except he gets to keep playing with his toys.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, this isn't like a Batman the Animated Series to Justice League Unlimited situation where you carry certain aspects over, but it's not quite the same. It's not that simple because that's animation. You can get away with anything in animation. When it comes to live action, whole different conversation.
Like I think they changed out Tim Daly
for George Newbern.
Yeah. Yes.
George Newbern.
And it was the same thing with who voiced Superman in the DC Universe Online game, which had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. It was a different person, but he was that staple, and he had done Superman before, and so it's easier in that medium to kind of get away with that, to kind of give you a different interpretation or a different iteration of the character, even though it's the same actor that's portraying the character. So, and also, the thing that Jason kind of has in his favor of the transition of Aquaman to Lobo is that he made $1 billion movie. He was part of making $1 billion movie in Aquaman 1, and then also the whole Amber Heard situation with Johnny Depp and all that bullshit. And so I kind of feel like the studio was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And Lobo's his favorite character, so he's like, well, fuck yeah, I want to do Lobo. So I think they were like,
it's the same deal with Margot Robbie too. Like she just made Warner Brothers a fucking $1 billion with Barbie. And
well, even before Barbie, she made money for something else that she did, and she was the reason why Birds of Prey was anything. She was the reason of course. She was, she purposely casted people that she could, I don't want to say, I guess, overtake, or spotlight over. She purposely picked an indie director, that would showcase her. That had its own problems, that movie, but it's very much very similar, like Phil was saying, very similar to what Jason Momoa. They sort of had this like, you've made X, Y, and Z for the company, so I guess I have to extend an offer to you for. And
this, on top of that, she was in the Suicide Squad. Obviously, Gunn really does like working with her, and to kick her out as Harley would I think make. No matter what happens, you're just gonna piss in the pool somewhere, and people aren't gonna fucking like it.
Sure.
Yeah, and this goes back to what I'm saying. It's like the wounds are not healing.
Right.
I mean, so
the only way that they could go forward with a new Harley is if she's younger and more energetic.
Well, technically they have a new Harley with Lady Gaga.
No, to give it not Lady Gaga. Get the fuck out of here. She's old as fuck. she's no. I'm not down for. I don't give a fuck. She is not Harley Quinn. She could be Harley Quinn for the Joker too, but she's not Harley Quinn overall. As far as like for a pseudo kind of like. What do I say? Psychological universe, like what would it be to be in this universe and do this and that and whatever, and have a sort of sing, kind of a Grease 2 sing out or whatever, or Disney kind of sing along thing. Yeah, okay, cool. She's good for Joker too, but she's not for the main DC continuity. She and if you're gonna go with a younger Batman, you got to go with a younger.
Well, now, one thing I did also want to kind of mention in relation to all, there's also the behind the scenes. They're talking this about the behind the scenes headbutting of Momoa and Heard and James Wan, which that's like I don't like to get into the mudslinging on that because it's like it's just a lot of he said she said. And frankly, it's like the way this come about. It really,
I think it's probably also a little bit of positioning. Villainizing her a little bit, maybe to say, okay, no, he's the victim, he's the one. James Wan is also, hey, we still like him. He's still going to be doing, things for us.
I guess we should just get right into this, shouldn't we?
Well, there you go. There you go.
Well, we're already dipping into it. So
we've summarized like half the article already.
Right. I mean, so you have Aquaman, and I saw James Wan and Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah. So then right here it says that where is it? Jason said he wanted me fired.
There you go.
So Jason said he wanted me fired. The notes say Jason's drunk, late on set, dressing like Johnny. Have you ever seen the way Jason Momoa dresses? He wears fucking jewelry and hats and top hats and shit.
He's the fucking gypsy.
Exactly.
What's his handle?
His Instagram handle is Pride of Gypsies.
Pride of Gypsies. Yes.
And she's like, he's dressing like Johnny.
He's dressing like Johnny. I was like,
obvious
well,
that
and the
this
whole
lady's
he's drunk
fucking
thing?
crazy.
Yeah.
The whole he's drunk thing, it's like, we've seen the man down a fucking Guinness in the first Aquaman movie. He likes to drink. Now, that's not to say he's drunk on set every fucking day. I find that to be
who's to also say it's rum?
I think it's bullshit, personally.
It's all bullshit. I mean, really, this doesn't do anything to help Amber Heard. It just makes her look even more crazier. It's like, dude, you're fucking
What
nuts.
she's doing is she's already gone down with the ship, right? And so she's just trying to take people with her.
Yeah, well, here's this might be a hot take, but depending on like which side of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp conflict you stand on, but it's like
Hold on.
yeah, but the hot take is that I fully expect both Depp and Heard to make comebacks, and the reason why I say that is because you look at the response to that trial was so
Vile.
it was so vile, but also
Vile.
it was so evenly polarized. I mean, like for every person you found that was Team Depp, you also found someone Team Heard.
Yep.
So,
But it doesn't. Even if you had nobody, it's everybody's. Even fucking Bill Cosby has a fucking chance of making a comeback. Look at everybody. Look at fucking Mel Gibson, Roseanne Barr, everybody who's been fucking ostracized. Dave Chappelle,
fucking Whedon.
Joss fucking Whedon. They tried that too. Anybody
bring
who
him
has
back a
been
couple times.
defamed, or demoralized or whatever, whether intentional or unintentional, they always have some way of trying to get back.
Well, but both of them have active. Both Depp and Heard still have a lot of support behind them. On both sides of the debate about it. So, that's why I say it's like you could. There are going to be just as many people seeing Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom to support Amber Heard as there are going to be people holding their nose when they see it or sitting it out because of her.
I'll say this much. If you are a journalist or reporter, whatever, and you take it upon yourself to release notes from a therapist, that's a whole different level of fucking scum
that's
there.
That's a lawsuit coming up.
Fucking bullshit.
I would not be surprised if there is some legal action related to that coming up.
No, definitely. But even here, she talks about James Wan and that James Wan was not supportive of her feelings and that James Wan was shitting on her by saying, he raised his voice at me. I can't even post about Aquaman. Made it like it was my fault. I said I'm sorry. Says Hughes. It says Hughes' notes in the reference.
By the way, Andre,
nobody could take selfies with me on set given blackout. It's like I don't.
By the way, Andre, sorry to interrupt real quick, but I need to respond to this from Droga. No Droga. O.J. Simpson does not have a chance of making a comeback.
No.
we already know it was his son that did the deed, and he did the time.
Yeah.
That's why the glove didn't fit.
I mean, all this shit is just complete bullshit. James is known for treating members of his cast and crew with the utmost respect and for fostering a positive and collaborative environment on the set of the Aquaman films. And the Aquaman films were no exception. So I think that taking the notes of the therapist is not a good look. It's something that you should.
Yeah, it's a horrible look.
It's a fucked up look, is what it is.
It doesn't make her look any better. It just adds more shit.
But
to
also,
the pile.
And to address Droga again, that doesn't stop me from watching the Naked Gun series. That shit is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
O.J. Simpson.
The O.J.
Absolutely. I would watch that shit
those
right
movies
now.
are fucking hilarious. I don't care who you are.
I would love to know like what the Terminator would have looked like if he had been the T-800.
That would have been something. That would have definitely been something.
It's the same thing with like Michael Jackson, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's a weirdo, he's a pervert, he's this, he's that.
He wanted to play Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But out of all the shit you say about Michael Jackson, when one of his songs comes on, what do? Oh, it's a good song.
Yeah, you listen to it. You sing along.
Oh, have you guys seen that one video in the high school where the teacher is leading the kids in recreating the dance from Thriller?
No.
Look that up. That is amazing. I'll just spot on there.
He's an amazing athlete, and he was out dancing people that were in their 20s, and he was in his 60s.
Yeah, I know a guy
because
who
of that fucking thing that he used to sleep in. What was that oxygen chamber and shit?
Yes.
That would help his muscles like regenerate and shit. Oh, dude,
I know a guy. This is back when I know a guy who I think he got in tickets for not Full Circle. This Is It.
Wow.
Like, and he told me this like right after Michael Jackson passed away. It's like, yeah, I had tickets for that. And so, okay, that bubble got burst.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too: is that it talks also about the films that were released this year. And look, those films were not made by James Gunn or Peter Safran. Obviously, they made some changes to them, which were controversial at best. But it says right here, like Flash, Aquaman cannot shake its lame duck trappings, with the DC universe getting overhauled under new leadership, making Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav's top priority. Now, here's the thing: is that if they continued on with Walter Hamada, think about how big of a train wreck it'd be now. If Gunn and Safran didn't exist and Hamada was still in charge, this would be the biggest shit show you've ever seen in your life.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
Because it'd be like, oh, so this is what we're gonna get.
It would be.
So the DC universe would still be intact, but nobody would care about it.
It would be a train wreck happening, and then the train still fucking manages to somehow go forward and manage to get itself into a bigger train wreck.
Oh, God.
That's what it would be.
Exactly. So, and then here's the juicy part. Again, it says, in fact, none of the stars cast by Zack Snyder's 2016 Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, 2017's Justice League, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Momoa will reprise their roles in the new DC universe in character. Momoa may return, just not as Aquaman. Sources say the actor is engaged in talks to play Lobo. Which
what they're going to do is they're going to say that the old DC EU made by Zack Snyder was all a figment of Lobo's imagination, where he imagined himself as Aquaman.
Yeah, I speculated when Gunn had said, when he said to Phil actually about that it was going to be explained why
James Gunn does talk to Phil. That's
when he explained that Peacemaker season, there was going to be an explanation why season 1 and 2 were both set in separate universes. That did kind of sound to me like he's already integrating multiverse elements into his storytelling. Same thing with
whatever he can, to sort of like to do that sort of mental gymnastics for people.
But that's the problem, though.
Well,
you
yeah,
had a golden opportunity with the Flash to have an ending that basically says next time he sees characters, it's going to be a new DC.
He could have pushed the Flash back to after Aquaman and reset it at that point, just like in Apocalypse War.
And here's where I've just got to be that guy who looks back at the outline that we had initially. It's like I bet you guys seen the movie Dead Man on Campus.
Yeah.
No. Because
it's a long story short. It's about these two guys. They're failing, and they try to cash in on that rumor. If your roommate commits suicide, you get straight A's. That was back in like 90.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, and it was so much of the drama of these last few years. It's like I think back to this one part when one of them says, "Listen, when I got here to college, I was on a track. Do you know what that is? A track is a wonderful, beautiful thing that's always progressing forward on a track. And this track got derailed in 2017. And as I have said repeatedly on so many streams, the wounds are not going away from it."
It's funny. There was a tweet put out from who did it?
I'm sorry if I raised my voice there. But
no, you're fine. You're fine, Brad. So
Leo
Rydell put out a tweet on the 9th. What went wrong with the DCE?
Yeah, and I saw your response to it.
Oh, I think my response sums it up perfectly.
Okay, bring that response up, Nickatina. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, I mean, do people even need to guess? Do people even need to guess what Phil's response to it was?
I know.
Come on, chat. Take guesses. What do you guys think my response was?
James Gunn sucks.
No. No.
No, I read that too when you posted it.
Yeah, well, and you got and some of the. Yeah, it's a yep. There.
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns. End of conversation. That is what went wrong with the DCEU.
Other breaking news: water wet.
Yes, yeah, I was so close.
That's
and I saw some of the replies you got to that, including that one idiot who got in that argument with Ayer a while back, talking about you're nothing that is in your cut of Suicide Squad is any different for the one we got. You guys know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, and that guy, he's another one like the individual I argued with recently, where it's like he just pops up into every conversation relating to anything tangentially connected to Snyder DC just to troll people, and but he's even bigger idiot because he's got the he's got the mental acuity and the debate skills of a 5-year-old. That's like, ugh. Oh yeah, Jeff. Yeah, you dropped in. It's and you know it's funny because I think I gave you a shout out on my first time on the 4Nerds here. Now one thing I did want to kind of let me go ahead and read Arjun's
Wouldn't
comment
that have trampled on Andy Muschietti's creative vision if you push his movie back and tell him to completely retool his? Okay, Rajay, how many endings did the Flash movie have?
Too many.
This movie
endings.
was fucked with from the jump.
Yeah, there was.
It was.
I think there was moments in the film where you could see where Andy Muschietti was kind of, you know, him probably Ezra Miller as well, kind of were doing their own thing, and those moments were like, hey, I see a bit of a good film in this.
See what you're doing there. Yes.
Yeah, and immediately it was shit on by something stupid.
That the Flash movie should have been just a Flash movie on its own, self-contained, just like Aquaman. Maybe had a couple mentions here from other things that he'd done with the Justice League or whatever. But I will self-contained. Flash movie, not a Flashpoint movie.
No,
because it was a Flashpoint movie, you had too many cooks in the kitchen, and Andy Muschietti was just basically doing what he was told.
I know. I still really commend him for. I'm amazed he was able to do this when he actually got the plot point references to ZSJL in there with like Aquaman pointing into Chrono Ball, which again, like Hamada being the DC head at the time, I'm kind of surprised he was able to get those in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably over his head. It was probably over his head. He probably didn't understand what the references were. But the thing is that I would be hard pressed that James Gunn didn't offer, Andy Muschietti a job. Like, hey, I want you to direct X, Y, and Z, because he's not a bad director.
No.
And
look at it, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Phenomenal adaptations of the King novel. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also even see better use of CGI in that movie. Or part two, more so than part one.
Oh, yeah. And the one thing actually I think he kind of brought back for the Flash from Chapter 2, it's the part when the two Barrys are in the young Barrys and Barry's like, okay, I'm going to punch him out, and time kind of slows down. He has that weird looking face as Barry's moving in slow motion. It reminded me of the part in Chapter 2 when Richie is about to throw the rock at Pennywise, and then he flashes the deadlights at him.
Yes.
That was a little Chapter 2 homage he put in there.
Yeah.
It's just, the problem I had was like the idea with the younger Barry, hey, that was a cool idea, but to me, it would have been better if it was just the Flash, Barry Allen, and Batman trying to figure this out. I don't care if it's Michael Keaton at this point. It would have made for an easier story to follow. There were so many characters, there was just, that movie had so much going on that it was just like, holy shit, dude.
Well, I mean,
you need a longer cut
have a lot
to tell
going
the
on,
story.
but then at the end of the day, the focus fell off the Flash and it landed on Superman and Batman.
But not even that. I mean, once we got to the fight with General Zod, Batman was just a dude flying around the Batarang, like, oh, it was just kind of like, what are we doing now? Like, so he went from being a badass or a really cool, to see Batman back again to I'm just
that fight scene, that is by far the best Keaton Batman fight scene. When he's when they're in, which and now that might be the best. That might not be the highest bar to clear because in my opinion, Batman Returns has by some of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I
love that movie, but I can't disagree with that.
But like some of the humor in the Flash, like for instance, when Batman goes to use the Batarang and then Barry comes next to him and he puts his legs up, and he's looking at him like, the fuck? Like, I'm not gonna hold your legs, And then little things like that were like, oh yeah, that's funny. But or when they're in the elevator and he asks him, how much do you weigh? I mean, I was kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah, that was a cool callback.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I was half expecting when they did that, them to bust out of there and him to look over to Barry and go, you weigh a little more than 108.
Yeah. I mean, there were really nice callbacks to obviously the Burton Batman stuff. Yeah, that was all handled really well. Honestly, the best stuff handled in that film, I would say, between the Flash stuff. After the Flash stuff, you've also got the Batman stuff. That was easily some of the best handled stuff in that film. And obviously, Andy Muschietti is a Batman fan, and that's probably why he got the directing gig of Brave and the Bold. And that's also probably why it's the only project on that slate I give half a shit about.
Sure.
I mean, the Batman scenes, like the Affleck scenes or Batfleck scenes in the beginning of the film, like the whole
that's a pretty
chase.
Yeah, that's an awesome action scene.
It was done really well. I liked it. However, I mean, obviously there were some things that I felt could have been better. Like to completely remove his voice modulator was like, oh okay.
That was a choice.
That was
definitely a choice.
That was a choice.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I don't want that. It's kind
Well,
of like,
I think the choice was because Michael Keaton doesn't use it, so like, wait, hold on, people are gonna
probably it was like, wait,
I think
so
that
he
was-
has
it
one, but
was
he
for
doesn't have
Listen,
one.
let me also be clear, everybody watching right now. So I'm probably the guy on the stream tonight who is is the biggest fan of the Flash movie. But that's just I'm just
I
getting
I
that
thought
out
it
there.
was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie, but it had a lot of flaws.
Now,
There's a lot of
one thing I did also want to bring up in relation to this article, because we're kind of relitigating and examining the Flash a lot specifically, but going back to the article, and this is something I brought up with William last night, and it was something that's been in the back of my head, is Gunn has been very emphatic when it comes to like DC news, rumor, gossip, all that. It's like, I'm the best. If it's not coming from me, it's like, don't take it with a grain of salt. And I'm gonna pull this up again. I pulled this up last night. This one tweet that he put out a couple of months ago.
Well, so many
They're
things
kind of addressing that.
like you said, if it's not coming from me, but then people report on that shit and it ends up being true.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull this up and read this
I
off. again.
honestly, I doubt that James Gunn is even going to come out and say anything about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because he hasn't said jack shit
Okay.
about Aquaman.
The only thing
and
he's
the
talked
Last
about
Kingdom.
is the Flash
At
and
all.
Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Flash,
Oh,
Blue Beetle,
oh,
even
oh.
Shazam.
Well, he was very clearly very
specific about
enthusiastic
Shazam.
about the Flash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I got the tweet here. So this is back from May 20th, and again, I read this off last night with William as well.
Bring it up, Andre.
And this was
He doesn't have
very
it up.
yeah. I can't do that, man. You're gonna have to get Andre to.
Yeah, no, he doesn't
but-
have it up.
Let's read it off. This is back on May 20th. Gunn tweeted out, I'm getting barraged with bullshit DC rumors this morning. I'll just reiterate the general rule not to believe anything unless it comes from me or Peter. But unless it's especially egregious, I'm going to slow down on calling shit out. Sorry, I know it's one of my favorite traditions, which he has made that clear. There are 3 reasons for this. One, some people are making up lies to get attention from me or to get clicks, and I don't want to encourage that. Two,
RJ.
I oh god, RJ. And two, it felt like we had to kind of apologize to him last night in the comments, because it felt like we were addressing a lot of his questions, and it felt like we were picking on him. So,
RJ?
yeah.
Oh, he's always picked on.
Guys.
You know what? Even though we pick on him, I love the shit that he brings up, because
Guys.
it's a lot of it's valid and good and good topics.
So I've seen this in the comments happening, and unfortunately, we have some. Where the fuck is it? Keith Giffen has passed away.
Who?
Oh,
Keith Giffen. He
Any relation to
co-created.
Peter Griffin?
No, Keith Giffen.
Ah,
Giffen, co-creator of Lobo, Rocket Raccoon, Maxwell Lord, Jaime Reyes,
Oh.
Blue Beetle, and Justice League One Punch, has
Oh.
died, age 70.
Rest in
I
peace,
mean,
man.
That's early. That's early.
That is a fucking shame. That dude did so much. I'm actually glad he got to see Blue Beetle before he passed away.
That is good.
Yeah, I'm too.
Because it was
Man,
a fun
that
movie.
sucks.
It was a good
It
movie.
was. It was
So,
a good movie.
That really
I mean, it
sucks,
wasn't
though.
a Ted Cord movie, but it was a good Jaime Reyes movie.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
like how they integrated Ted
I
Cord,
love that too.
he
Like,
was, that
yeah.
he existed before him. That was
And
but
that
the
was
way it
very
was done
Ant-Man
was really
reminiscent.
good.
Yes.
It was really good the way they did that. How they kind of like,
Yeah.
and they found his hideout and everything. It was like, oh,
Yeah, it was like wow. I remember seeing this with my.
I mean, unfortunately, he it's his passing before Momoa may get the chance to play Lobo, but but at least he got to see Blue Beetle.
It's
Lobo
better
was
than
in
that other
Krypton.
fucking Lobo. From
Yeah, that's true. He was on Crypt, and he was on Superman. That was actually one of my favorite. And I think Scott and what they might have done this a couple months,
The
like a
Lobo
month or two ago.
episode, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my
The
favorites on
Lobo
the
from
Superman the
Krypton
animated
reminded
series.
me of that other dude from Get Him to the Greek. What's that guy's name?
And I mentioned this too.
Russell
Also.
Brand.
Yes, it reminds
Who-
me of a I guess more alien masculine Russell Brand, but he gave me Russell Brand.
Listen,
I like the one from Man of Tomorrow because it was played by Ryan Hurst from Walking Dead.
Oh, you're talking about the animated.
The newest animated film that came
Yeah,
out
yeah,
during
that
the
was
pandemic, 2020. Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
good. The worst part about that show was the parasite.
listen, my fan casting for Lobo for the longest time has been Danny Trejo.
that would
Ooh.
slap hard. I like that.
Yeah, but he trains rancors.
yeah.
Deal.
You know what was funny about that in The Mandalorian? When Danny Trejo showed up, I remember when I was watching it, I remember thinking, I almost said it out loud, I think. When they first showed him, I was like, what the hell is Danny Trejo doing here? like, I was like, what?
Shouldn't you be in Spy Kids?
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
that's what Ryan said when he saw fucking Doc Brown in Mandalorian season 3. He's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was like,
Great Scott!
I was like, what's Christopher Lloyd doing here?
Great
Scott! Wasn't that the same episode that had Jack Black and
Yes.
That was
Lizzo
the
in
same
it as well?
episode.
I was
Same
like,
episode.
what is happening to The
It
Mandalorian?
was like one of those guest star episodes.
Yeah, in fact, tomorrow are we going to get the article about how they're overhauling all the Star Wars stuff?
Thank
That's coming
you. Thank you.
Quite possible.
Well, actually, let me go ahead and finish off reading off James Gunn's tweet that was in. So it said like some people are making up lies to get attention from me and get clicks, and I want to encourage that. 2, I've read 100 rumors this morning. 1 of them is half true, so I don't want to be used as a way for people to throw nonsense to the wall until something sticks. And 3, I'm doing Superman Legacy stuff, which we already knew, but that is something I really flashed back to with this latest article. And part of me is wondering, is he going to comment on this? Is he going to comment on the one? And I think part of the blockade for that also might be you still have the SAG-AFTRA strike ongoing, so could be tantamount to like press that would be crossing the picket line on that. But yeah, again, that's something that I've the fact that he has put his foot down on that so much is something that I don't think really can be ignored. Not to say that that they're. Even though we in the Snyder fandom absolutely love this particular journalist, I mean, I don't want to. He said it on May 20th, Droga.
Yeah, May 20th. Come, wake up.
Yeah,
idiot.
Their words, not mine, Droga.
But
I better get back to Red Robin.
It's something to kind of weigh with a lot of the reporting. I just feel that's very relevant to bring up, and just kind of was wondering everybody's thoughts on that. With just the fact that he has put the gauntlet down on that so much,
right? And the fact that this article came out, he's not going to comment on it because at this point now it's just pointing fingers. You know what I mean? I think at this point he's like, I don't give a shit. I've already said my piece on everything. I'm not going to comment on this and give it any kind of validity.
Well, again, that's what he said. It's like, I mean, people are throwing shit at the wall, or some of it, a lot of it's just half true, et cetera, et cetera.
Time, I mean, look, for him, he's just trying to get past Aquaman. He's like, man, this shit couldn't come out soon enough.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
once
like,
Aquaman comes out, it's not going to be
Superman Legacy.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a release where you're like, oh, cool, we're here. It's finally Aquaman. No, what's going to happen is it's going to come out and James Gunn's going to be like, oh, thank God.
He
terribly
would probably
ironic.
be more
Which is
happy if it were like direct to DVD. You know what I mean?
It's so ironic to me that he does not give 2 fucks about Aquaman, considering his co-head produced the first 2 movies. Yeah.
Well,
that's so ironic to me.
That might not be that's not the best look for Safran either.
That's very true. Yeah,
well,
very true.
And who knows how the film's going to be? I mean, like, if the film,
I think we were breaking down the trailer a couple weeks ago. I think it looks pretty promising. I'm looking forward to it.
I like it. I think it'll be fun, but I don't think it'll be.
The Flash trailer looked pretty promising.
I think honestly, I think it's going to have a fucking shit show of a story. But I think that Patrick and Jason will have great screen time together.
Just admit it's like you're afraid the baby's going to die.
I'll just say,
I don't care.
That is
the baby's not going to die.
I think that I'll have fun with Patrick and Jason on screen.
I think the beginning of the film will be good, and the third act will be not good.
I'll just say that I will just say that James Wan has never made a movie that I've disliked.
Yeah, same here.
Well, because it's easy to start a film. It's easy to start a film, and then it's how you branch that to the third act. Usually, it tells you how good a film really is, and I think that's where it's going to start to sail away. Yeah. Like, okay, this is dumb.
That's where a lot of these movies have a hard time landing. Is the fucking finale? Like, how do you end?
Look at Shazam! Look at Shazam! Fury and the Gods.
Look at Shazam. Look at Wonder Woman 84. Look at fucking shit. What else had a horrible fucking third act?
You know what? Honestly, turned its third act on its head and actually did something worthwhile with it. Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Blue Beetle did a pretty good today. And that was where I picked up on when the director said it's like there was callbacks to Man of Steel, and you have that one shot where Blue Beetle's dragging across and punching it. And that's where I put, okay, it's not referencing events, it's more kind of referencing visual cues. Yes, that was a callback to you think you could threaten my mother.
But
they'd already used that in WandaVision. They were like, we might as well use it in Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah, totally ripped off that too.
They did.
But no, it's like there's just so many movies, especially the DC movies, where there's no payoff at the end, and fans are left saying this in the audience.
No, it's just dumb.
Yeah, that movie also
you're just
had
like,
a horrible
fuck, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like, what just happened? Like, you had it going, and obviously all the creative power left after you created the first half of the movie. Like, all right, we're out of here.
Another movie that had not a great third act was the latest Matrix movie. Like, it started out really compelling, and I was like, ooh, I'm interested.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Yeah.
At the end, I was like, I've already
seen you know what has one of the best third acts I've seen in a really long time is John Wick 4.
Yeah.
John Wick 4 was
That
very
that
good.
last hour is just fucking wall to wall action. I mean, it's
Well,
just
I mean, look, you want to talk about a movie that started off strong and ended strong was
Lord of the Rings.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fucking
Oh,
good.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole way
Yes.
through was like
I
this
agree.
is fucking. That's why I put this goddamn poster up. I'm like, that's a good.
No, that was
You know
the
what?
Batman.
great
You know what other
movie.
movie had a really fucking great third act? Ambulance by Michael Bay.
yeah, it did. Yeah,
I haven't seen
Or
that.
how about Ghostbusters? The
Fucking
last
Ghostbusters
Afterlife?
had a
That-
phenomenal
fucking
third
good.
act.
I was
That's
like,
back
dude,
in the
but-
80s. Are you talking
No,
about
wait,
fucking Afterlife?
no, he's
Afterlife
talking about
had a
2016,
great third act,
obviously.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original. Come on.
You are?
Idiot.
Yeah.
But no, Ghostbusters Afterlife had no, I'm talking about the
It
one
was
with the
a
girls.
very good, dude. If in that movie did homages to the fucking T, dude. That is how you fucking pay tribute to.
I like-
to
Well,
the
so did this film.
I
Well,
like
that was-
the-
and also, I'm sorry,
The
but
fact
also
that they stole
he was
an
he was
F-14
giving
Tomcat,
fucking
I was
props
like,
to his
fuck
dad,
yeah.
dude. I mean, come on.
I like
Jason's not going to do a bad job.
I like the third act of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah,
That's a good movie. I watched
It's
that
a,
just
it's
the
a
other night with
fun
my
movie.
kids.
Like when you have Super Shredder there and he's bringing the whole docks down, and they're
Go
like,
Ninja,
"Oh,
go
so-"
Ninja,
no,
go,
no,
go,
no.
Ninja,
I'm
go,
not,
Ninja,
you know what?
go.
No. I'm talking about the wrong movie.
Oh, you're
I'm
talking about
talking
the mayhem thing.
Mutant
that just
Mayhem.
came- Yeah,
Mutant
yeah,
Mayhem,
yeah.
Not
of course
Secret
you
of
are.
the Use.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
canceling
okay.
you.
We got that backwards, but okay.
No, I like Secret.
See,
of the
Brad
Ooze.
was in the same boat. He was like,
The
yeah.
best
well,
Teenage
what-
Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, I'm sorry, is the
It's
fucking
the first one.
one.
It's the first one. Yeah.
The best
I
fucking
will
movie.
say, Mutant Mayhem
ever.
comes close though. Mutant Mayhem very
Oh,
good.
I get this off my chest too.
It's got some good stuff in it.
One that had the third act improves from where the movie began, but it's still such a letdown for me. Was the
Alejandro.
the third, was the Expendables 4?
Mm.
Oh
I
man,
haven't seen that. I haven't seen it yet.
yeah.
Haven't
Oh
seen
god, that was such a letdown for me.
I stopped at the Bruce Willis or Harrison Ford. What was that?
That was the third one he was in.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I
but
stopped.
and part of that was it's like you got this one I was really looking forward to because you have a
Who
Tony
like-
Jaa from Ong Bak and Iko
Underline.
Uwais from The Raid. The Last Jedi. Everybody's got an opinion on Last Jedi. But,
Oh man.
We don't talk about
so it's
that
like
shit.
you got my boys in this. I was so looking forward to it, and it's just God, I could go all night about how
Ball
much Expendables 4 crushed me.
Ball dropped.
You've seen
I
Expendables 4?
Have not, but I've just heard that same sentiment. They just dropped the fucking ball by the
Yeah,
third act
it's
hardcore.
like here's how like my general assessment of the series, and I think this probably seems to be the case for a lot of people, is like going from like 1 to 4. I would call it the pretty good one, the great one, the okay one, the terrible one. That's how I kind of rank the series.
It goes poop, 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 poop.
Well, that last one was definitely.
Are we
know
talking
what,
about the Fast
yeah.
and the Furious franchise?
Well, that's
You know,
just that.
I
That's
need-
just gone into a
Okay.
that's gone off into Looney Tune land now.
I need to watch the recent one because apparently Jason Momoa just steals the fucking
Oh,
show in
he
that
is
film.
awesome in it.
Okay, all right, yeah, I gotta watch
You
If
that.
know what
if
film
his
I
logo
like?
is going to be anything like that, I mean that might get me excited for James
Probably.
Gunn's
I
DCU.
think
He dresses like Johnny Depp in that movie too.
No, he does.
Yeah, yeah,
He must have done it on purpose.
Yeah,
But
he
you know what film I like? And it's a guilty
Gone
pleasure.
with the wind.
No,
we
it's
know.
Battle Los Angeles. I actually like that movie.
Oh
I thought it was a
yeah,
lot of fun.
I need to catch that.
People,
Yeah,
the critics.
You probably
destroyed
like
that movie.
Battleship.
I do.
I know you do.
It's a good. I love that movie. Another one is 13 Hours
okay.
by Michael Bay. I liked
Honeymooners?
it. No, 13 Hours. The Honeymooners. Yeah, that's it. I thought that was a cool action movie. I liked it. But let's move on to our next topic before we go on to just all these different films. We have a little bit more news to get
You know
to.
what had a really good third act? Motherfucker.
you. Thank you.
Marvel
Yeah.
has let go of all the writers and directors for Daredevil Reborn
Yeah.
as
So we're-
the series
Didn't we
will
already
go
talk about
an
Daredevil?
entire creative reboot.
So we're going from the DC of disappointment to Marvel disappointment now. So we're just
But
having
this
such
is-
a
this is-
fun cape shit week, aren't we?
But this is the thing that was that
When I see
like, the
Daredevil
cracks,
with Disney,
hold
I
on,
think, I'm
the
sorry, I
cracks
see
are
fucking
starting to
ketchup and
show
mustard. It's
when
weird.
it comes to Marvel. Like
Yeah, they
they've
are,
been
yeah.
holding it together for so long, and now it's like
Like
Give it-
post Endgame, it's been a lot much more hit.
Well,
and
because
miss.
they don't know what the fuck they got anymore. They're like, I don't know where to go.
the MCU needs a reboot so bad.
I agree.
Absolute
I
reboot.
agree.
This was
Same
the
thing
thing.
with I'm dying to see a new fucking iteration of Wolverine.
This
Give
was
me
this was
someone else.
this was hands down the
What's
thing.
up, Max?
This is the thing that made me go to Brad like, holy fucking
Yeah, you
shit.
DM'd me that earlier.
I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is a complete total fucking rehaul of a rehaul. That is hilarious.
I mean,
But-
this sounds like, I mean, if they had been further along than they are, I mean, this almost might sound like what happened initially with Justice League.
Here's some more news too.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel found that Daredevil Born Again wasn't working because it was more of a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version's action and violence. Cox wouldn't have appeared in costume until episode 4.
And that's a mistake. That's
It's
that's
like-
an honest mistake. Not an honest mistake. That's just a straight up mistake.
But
if you
you
ask
want to
me.
know why? You want to know why it went this
I
route?
object.
Because it's on fucking Disney Plus. It's on Disney fucking Plus. They can't go violent like they did on Netflix.
The irony
Should've
here,
been like,
the irony here,
She-Hulk working in court.
the irony here is that they deliberately mention that, oh, it's not like the Netflix show, but we brought on someone to not make it. Then bring the people from Netflix back to work on the fucking show. Then, if
Where's
you're so
Froggy?
concerned about it. Holy shit!
But that's the thing is that like
Oh.
you can't make it like the Netflix show because it's on fucking Disney.
Why
Plus,
would you?
dude.
Well, I mean, the
can't.
Netflix show was so popular. Why would you not want to just make that, tonally consistent with
I'm
what
sorry,
you started
but
with?
if they can make fucking Deadpool 3, they can make fucking.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Can
I'm
they?
sorry, with Ryan on
They're
that,
gonna
yeah.
make Deadpool 3, that's for sure. But
Yes.
that's
Well,
going
to
to
be
be
fair-
theaters.
oh,
Fuck
to be
that.
fair- oh, to be
That's
fair-
a theatrical
Oh, yeah.
release.
But
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
theatrical release as opposed to a TV show. You're
by the way,
right.
I need-
You know
I need-
what?
show.
You know
I need
what?
to mention.
They did do Werewolf by Night, which was probably one of the darkest things they've done in a long
But it was
while.
black and white as well.
Very
yeah,
true.
because it
But
was
even
black
still-
and white, and
but
you
even
could barely see
okay,
anything.
but even still, tonally, like it was
It was,
dark.
it was
and-
good.
and
I enjoyed
like,
it.
It
it's
was
like,
good.
if you can do that with fucking
It
Live by
reminded me of that Benicio del Toro like werewolf movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
but even
which
still-
that one sucked.
Like,
yeah, it did
tonally-
suck.
I like the
Anthony
one with
Hopkins.
Jack Nicholson. That's my favorite.
Like if
Oh,
you're
Wolf.
gonna lean into something like Werewolf by Night and have it be legitimately dark, there's no reason why you can't
But-
do the same fucking thing with
I
Daredevil.
saw it in theaters.
And
Yeah.
by-
With my dad.
I need to mention this also because we just brought up Deadpool 3 because there was also a report the other day that that it is expected to maintain its May 2024 release date, and I saw that news and I quote tweeted with the part in Wayne's World where he goes, "Sha," and monkeys might fly out of my butt because there's no way it's making that date at this point. I'm sorry,
Oh man.
that's just not going to happen.
So are they
That's just-
recasting this as well?
I'm sorry, but this is a great movie.
Well, that's just I mean, come on, that's just Jack Nicholson with sideburns. I mean, come on, like,
Oh my gosh. Oh
a
my
great
gosh.
film.
That
It's a
was
great
after
film.
the Joker.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. It was in the 90s.
It
I wanna say.
was.
But I mean, I'm telling you right now.
Oh,
look,
so I mean, you guys
well,
didn't say. Are they recasting the lead?
No,
Who, Daredevil? Fuck
Charlie
no.
Cox. No, well, they just brought it. Why would they do that if they just had him in Spider-Man: No Way Home and She-Hulk? I mean, they definitely are very committed to Charlie Cox's Daredevil, as they should be.
I think again, you're looking at.
Can they change
like,
the mustard costume back to ketchup?
back to
Yeah,
ketchup?
I think
I agree
I think
with
so.
that. Back to sriracha. I think that
Make it hot and spicy.
when you look at a show like She-Hulk, right? I have a feeling that Daredevil was sort of channeling what you saw in She-Hulk with the character and making it a little more
Edgy?
more happy-go-lucky. Talking about him being the lawyer and doing this and that. And I think they just said, dude, this fucking sucks.
You know what? I'm gonna find a picture of the Daredevil costume I want to see in live action. But go ahead and continue real quick.
Let me
I
get.
just want to see him the same costume he wore in fucking episode or the first season.
I bet you're gonna pull up the Shadowland costume, aren't you?
It might be that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
that's
well
what
might be.
Oh, is he gonna the same one that he used for fucking Link in the new Zelda show?
If
No.
they
The
get
new
rid of
Zelda,
Charlie Cox, I'm gonna
game.
fucking.
Oh,
buy
if they
it.
got rid of Charlie Cox, like, no, that's no.
No one's gonna give a shit. What's he? RJ Rice.
Marvel fans would experience the Cavill heartbreak that we did.
Oh yeah.
They should.
even-
I need them to feel what we felt.
Yeah, you exactly.
What's even more of an outrage is that they had planned to kill off Foggy and Karen in the first episode
What?
off screen.
Are you
Like, seriously?
serious?
I don't.
Wait a
put
minute,
any
are-
stock
wait,
in that.
RJ.
I don't.
Oh, RJ,
do not put any stock into that. I do
Wait a
not
minute.
put any stock into that because that's coming from a BS fucking rumor website Twitter account. I don't put any stock.
Is
into
that from
at all.
what is that one that?
Can we
that
get some
My Time
toast?
to Shine? Hurricane.
Can we get some toast? That's who it came from.
Okay.
I mean, I would say that can't
Oh,
be true,
if
but
this,
I mean,
well, if there is any truth to that, whoever made greenlit the decision, I'm glad they're being fired.
I mean, look, it's just again,
The
it's
editor
on
of
Disney
Discussing
Plus.
Films.
That's on Disney
Editor in
Plus. You
chief.
can't be as violent as you were on Netflix. You can't do that. You can't. I mean, I loved the violence and the gritty fighting style that you saw on Netflix. That's what I've always wanted to see.
You could do.
Hold
look
on.
like they-
That's what I've always wanted to
You
see
hold on.
out of a Batman series. Is that kind of fighting? Go ahead. Now you can talk.
No, they did
Jesus.
the same thing in Ahsoka when they chopped out that dude's head. You didn't see it, but you saw the head roll. So I mean, they could kind of
Heads
do.
will
They could
roll.
be creative with their gore. You know,
Now-
implied gore. You
No,
know?
but they're not going to have implied gore in Deadpool 3.
Okay, either
No,
or.
no, in
RJ, it doesn't
Deadpool
matter. I don't
3
put any fucking stock into it because it's not coming from anyone official from Marvel.
What's this?
What? But it's like
Oh, what's
This is
that?
the suit I want to see in live action.
that would be pretty awesome.
That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
That
That's a
looks
nice blend
kinda
of
like
what we've seen
Robin.
before. What?
Robin.
Which
Sure.
Red
one?
on the chest, and then he's got.
Yeah, well, this is Marvel. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Okay.
No, I seriously want to see this one. I think this one would be pretty badass.
That'd be cool. The yellow
Okay, I
one,
think
I
it's
don't
okay.
know. It was
The
cool.
yellow one's
Never-
not
never-
getting me, dude.
Never been
It
a
was
fan of
cool
the
at
yellow
first.
suit.
Yeah, another.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to carry that
You're
on.
like, we need to be different from Netflix.
I really appreciated like how much they made the black suit. Work, not only just work, but also
You're
how
talking
long they
about
kept.
the season
the-
1 suit.
Well, season 1 and season 3,
Yeah.
the ninja suit. I really enjoyed it. I do. I because that was initially I think that where they put that wasn't from the comics initially. That was in when Daredevil was on the Trial of Incredible Hulk, back in like '87 or something like that. And it's like that was back during, of course, the '80s. So it's like we couldn't like get like comic accurate suits, so that like they kind of had to make do. And then they worked it into the comics, and then they brought it back for the
But
Netflix
he's
show.
fucking blind. He's not gonna know what he's wearing.
But yeah, I guess that's true. I mean,
He has
that's
no
some
idea.
that's some interesting humor, dude.
It's like that shit doesn't match. He's like, I don't care. It's like, I'm all about justice. What does it matter when you're dealing with justice? Tip the scales.
So that's why if they do a reboot, it has to focus on the X-Men, and then you sprinkle in
How do you
the
focus on
new
the X-Men
Avenger
in the
characters.
Daredevil show?
No, he's talking
I'm
about like
saying-
a
I'm talking about a
widespread
reboot,
MCU
the
reboot,
Yeah, I'm talking about an MCU reboot.
like
If you do
a
that-
ground up reboot. Yeah.
I would
think-
love a reboot, but
honestly,
I don't think they're gonna.
As long as
That's where
Sony
they're-
still has Tom Holland in the Spider-Man role, I don't think Marvel's going to be allowed to reboot for a while.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that- and
that's true.
the
Yeah.
thing. And then you're
There you
making
go.
Daredevil. Like, how is that gonna? There is
One
no
is-
reboot.
Especially with the way No Way Home ended, and we still haven't
And
gotten.
they're not doing a
not
damn thing with the
done anything
Hulk.
with it. Yeah, well, that's a whole other.
Professor
I mean,
Hulk.
look,
gives
he's
shit.
still owned by Universal. He can only guest star and shit, but they're not doing anything with him.
I'm sorry, Professor Hulk. I could give two shits. He's
I like
boring.
I
he's
like
stupid.
Professor Hulk in the Infinity War comic more so than in game, definitely.
They can't afford to mess up Daredevil and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
These are two
Fantastic Four,
properties
it's like
you've
that-
got
that
to
is like-
nail and get it right.
Man,
They
the fantastic, the bad luck they have had with Fantastic Four.
That's the one property that they got to get right.
And I'm not even. I've never really
But
been.
they won't.
Yeah, I've never really been that enamored with the Fantastic Four myself personally.
I love the Ian. What's that guy's name? The one that.
Ian Owen McGregor or
no,
McGruber.
Ewan McGregor. that's
Owen
what he
McGruber. Yeah. Owen McGruber.
Ian, what's his name?
Yep,
Ian.
Yoan Grufford or Ian
Grufford.
yes,
Ian
yeah.
Grufford. That's his
Ian
name.
Grufford.
I love his interpretation.
An Irish
of
name, and I
character.
can't pronounce it even though I'm Irish.
And he did. He was good. He was in I think he played Lancelot.
Would have
But
been cool
he-
to see him in the Multiverse of Madness, but I
It
was also
would
proud to
have
see-
been.
I also was pretty big on Krasinski because I think that's actually pretty good casting. That's just
Look,
me.
I like Krasinski, but they didn't do right by Krasinski. They made him into a.
They
fucking-
did
they made
the
him into
opposite.
Play-Doh.
The fact they killed him
Yeah.
kind of bugged me. Yeah, that was a little
The
hard.
way
Well,
that they killed him was fucking weak.
He got stretched apart.
He didn't do
I was
anything.
like,
he
"That's
wasn't. If he had put up, how the fuck did I say smash the like button?
How did you say smash the like
How
button?
did I have not been typing? How did that happen?
When you post it on here, you idiot, it does it to all the channels.
Oh,
You really cut yourself off to say something stupid as that?
I just saw it. I was like, why am I talking? But yes, guys, smash the like button. But no, Ian Griffith would have been fucking amazing to see a
Peter
cameo.
Griffin?
Griffin. Peter Griffin?
I
Is
thought
he
it was
dead?
Griffith.
But it would. I would have liked him than Krasinski. I would have loved to see Krasinski in like a different
Gruffud.
fashion.
I own Gruffud.
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 UDD.
Gruffin.
Okay, Gruffin.
Yeah.
I loved watching him in,
I
in
mean-
those iterations. I thought he was the best. I thought he was better than what's her face as Sue
Jessica
Storm.
Alba?
Yes, Jessica Alba.
She was
And Chris
better to
Evans.
look at.
Chris Evans was
Chris
fun.
Evans was Human Torch. Yeah.
He was fun.
Michael
and-
Chiklis as the Thing is severely underrated, though.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think, so.
he is. I think he did a better job than the guy in fucking Fantastic.
I feel so bad for that cast because they got the shaft so hard.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Who, they had, like, Kate Mara was in that.
Kate
and,
Mara, Miles Teller,
Miles
Jamie
Teller.
Bell, and Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. And Michael B. Jordan. I mean, thank God he had Creed coming out a couple months later after that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
But we're still waiting on him to be Balzan. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's all. That's another one of those Hamada projects that got announced out of nowhere. That's
It did.
totally
J.J.
happening.
J.J.
it was
Abrams
like
is heading that project.
J.J. Abrams is heading the Justice League Dark, and Michael B. Jordan he's doing Superman and
Ta-Nehisi
and-
Coates.
and Stop All Press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that what they should do in Fantastic Four going forward is not include Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four show or movie. Like have him be his own character in his own world, because I liked when he was a dictator.
Doom
And I think
makes
that-
a much better antagonist for all of Marvel as opposed to
Oh
Fantastic
yes,
Four.
I completely
100%.
agree with you 100%. I don't want to see another like, oh hey, he was the fifth astronaut or something.
Yeah, we don't need.
Like,
to see
I don't
that.
wanna see that shit.
Yeah, it's like enough of that. It's
Yes, and so RJ, I agree. Yes, do not touch Doom, but also I agree more with Phil in that he should be his own character and not highly like he should know the characters of Fantastic Four, but not confined to the characters of
Like,
Fantastic Four.
The hardcore Marvel fan in me wants Marvel Studios to do the Kang Doctor Doom team up. I want to see that, but
Yeah, that would be cool.
I doubt it will happen. That would make me a longtime Marvel, because I grew up reading them two being like dastardly evil with each other and like plotting and planning shit across the multiverse, and it's like, yes, I want to see that. Will it actually happen? I doubt it. Be cool if it did, though.
That and then fucking what's his face from Shang-Chi, no, not Shang-Chi, the Iron Man 3, the Mandarin, the real Mandarin.
Well,
Yeah,
he was.
the
The fake Mandarin wasn't
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yes, he was
Yes.
Ben Kingsley. Which honestly, after watching Shang-Chi, I'm actually a little more softer on Iron Man 3 having watching Shang-Chi.
yeah. I was actually glad he was in Shang-Chi.
I
actually liked
love
that.
Ben Kingsley. That shit was funny. When he was in the prison, he was
Yeah.
like, I just can't turn it on.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. Shang-Chi makes Iron Man 3 more watchable for me.
And you will never see her again. Or something. I forget what the line was.
And
but it
then
was-
what was
You'll
it? The,
never
the,
see
the,
me coming.
yeah, there it is.
The little animal that he had.
Oh, yeah.
That had no head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Honestly,
chicken.
turn right. Turn right now.
I think if you look at all the origin films, you know, because they're all obviously basing it off the Iron Man blueprint. Shang-Chi's the best update to the Iron Man blueprint. in
Yeah,
my
I think so.
humble opinion.
Yeah. And where's he been?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord knows.
He's in his cave washing his tights.
Nate Smith writes, I'd want Doom and Kang to work together. Then
Sure.
Doom kills Kang in Secret Wars to take all the multiverse power for himself, becoming God Emperor Doom.
Okay, if they did that, then you have to do it's either I think it might be Brian Hitch or Hickman. I don't remember which one it did, but there's a point where Doom gets the Infinity Gauntlet and straight rips Thanos' spine like straight up Sub-Zero style.
Like Mortal.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat. He straight up just sticks his hand inside Thanos and just rips the skull with the spine hanging, and just bam, that's all you see of Thanos. I'm like, yeah, I need to see that. That'd be dope as fuck.
But you won't, because it's Marvel. They're like, well, it's too violent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
violent.
the dark side would do that if we, God forbid, we got GL doing 3.
Darkseid would clown Thanos in less than 0.5 seconds.
Version of Thanos, yes.
Okay, so here's another question as we get close to, we're an hour
Thank
and a half
you, Nate
now,
Smith. Hickman Secret Wars. That's where it was. Yes.
So, do you guys think that, jumping over to DC, do you think that James Gunn will eventually touch Darkseid and
Well,
bring him in? The fold?
that's something I've been wondering. Not just what he would touch.
Dude,
Dark.
No.
Ava
but
DuVernay was working on a script. I think that they'll definitely bring in the fucking new guy.
Well, no, not the thing I've also been wondering about is because you thinking back to, and this is where I'm maybe getting a little tinfoil hat here, but I mean, wondering if Gunn is enough of a comic book guy to really go for this because yeah, it's true. But you have to think about the fact that the new gods, Apocalypse, New Genesis, all that. There's they exist outside of the multiverse. There's one of them. I mean, they can project avatars into other worlds, but there's one of them. There's not like the infinite Superman, Batman. There's one. So I'm kind of wondering. So I have kind of wondered. It's like, would he, if he were to bring Darkseid in, would he like try to go like Infinite Earths route and say it's like, I'm going to bring in the Darkseid we've already seen?
I don't think so.
You'll never see the dark side that that we've already seen. You'll never see a different version.
If the
my dog
there is Ray Porter, I don't think that would happen as much as
if Ray Porter got a call, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, especially
he did a phenomenal job, and I love everything he did with the role. But if he got a call, I would be surprised.
Sorry, it was my dog. My dog was sneaking up on.
And his dog also agrees that if Ray Porter got a call, you would be surprised as well.
Well, I just got him about a month ago, and he's a year and a half old, and he's got so much energy.
A year and a half old, and he already knows that Ray Porter getting a call would be not on the menu.
It would lead credence to exactly what Brad was saying. It would just keep reminding people of what had been coming.
Exactly. And in the meantime, James.
Yeah, we're already doing that, so
right. But what I'm saying is that, like, as much as we want to see that, James Gunn, in the meantime, he's doing this.
John Cena.
Well, that's a cool talent. You could flute the John Cena theme through your nostrils.
But he's
doing. He's like, John Cena, let's go. I think
that has been on my mind, because I mean, that's one thing I've said. Like Gunn, however much we might have issue with things he's done so far, like one area where he is definitely a step up from Hamada is that Gunn absolutely knows his comics.
That's true.
Once Gunn has his universe established, he will not go back and cherry pick more from the Snyderverse.
I think the idea of using any new gods characters is plausible, considering Tom King is in that writer's room for the DCU. Whether or not he shows up in Chapter 1, yet to be seen.
I just think that if there's going to be a big bad villain, it won't be Darkseid. It'll be Chapter 4. You know what I mean?
Anti-Monitor.
There's already rumors that the Center is going to be the first villain for the Justice League New Frontier.
Justice League together, right?
Yeah, and so that's why it's like, hey, just get that. Give me the Center villain. Once you kill him off, you just move on, and then you have your Justice League.
Sure, honestly, I think Mongol's a much more appeasable villain than Center.
Mongol would be fun.
Yeah,
to see Superman fight off World,
but we already had Mongal.
Okay, so as long as there's not a helicopter to kill Mongol, we're fine.
Yeah, you're right there, 100%. And honestly, I think the War World would just be dope as fuck.
That would be dope as shit. Because it would be sort of like what Phil loves is Thor Ragnarok, where you have fucking gladiators. You like Thor Ragnarok, right?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I liked it.
So you liked it. Okay.
Yes.
So Thor Ragnarok had like kind of a gladiator theme, right? And I think that seeing Mongol, have the War World having that sort of aspect to it would be an interesting way of seeing Superman do something.
You're really making me fearful that Taika is going to direct a DCU movie now, and it's like I'm sorry, Taika
is tied with Gunn, and he's already been fucking Ratcatcher's father, so he is definitely going to be on the.
And I am not.
He's on the docket.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Docket.
You know where he would be. I don't want to say best utilized, but they could probably use him for.
Plastic Man.
35th, that's Plastic Man, or the guy from the 35th century. What's his name?
Booster Gold.
Booster Gold.
Yeah.
We got Jeff Johns down here.
Kite Man.
Jeff Johns is always back.
Yeah, we got him saying, "I hope they use my comics for inspiration."
Look at Phil. He's like, no.
And you know what? Because Phil, when you posted the thing you did about it was Jeff Johns behind it all, and it's a lot of one of the several replies I saw were people saying it's like, well, I mean, Zack Snyder's so cool. Why was he using so many of John's books as the basis for his movies? And
the ironic part, he wasn't.
But even if that's the argument you're making, it's like, yeah, he was, and then he got stabbed in the back in the wake of a family tragedy. What's your point?
Yeah, the only basis there is the lineup of the Justice League. That's it. Straight up. That is legitimately it. Because in Justice League Origins, they fought fucking Darkseid. That's why they come together. In the movie, it's Steppenwolf, and it's a completely different kind of story being told. So I've seen some of those replies, and I'm just like, you guys don't fucking get it at all. Like, what's so fucking ever? It's astonishing to me that people look at that, and they even still are like, well, he's this really great comic writer. I don't give a fuck. That has zero shit fuck all to do with the point that I'm making here. And it's
I saw you put the reply from the Fugitive of I don't care
because I don't. I truly don't. Like that man's quality in writing has declined since New 52. The best thing he's done in years is Aquaman.
We got the final word on him really a full circle. I mean, that's all there is to say.
Right. Exactly. So and there are going to be people on the other corners of the internet.
Oh God! Look at here's another. I'm sorry to interrupt, Phil.
Oh, you're fine.
The next one. Is,
yeah, I see. I see.
I regret adding Cyborg to my JL. It cost me my job.
Well, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't have been such an asswipe to Ray Fisher and the rest of the cast of Justice League.
Yeah, it was
food for thought, buddy.
Disaster.
It was a disaster. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like,
who is this behind the Jeff Johns tonight? Is like because
probably one of our chatters just being funny, and I get it.
Yeah.
But still, like when people wonder what went wrong with the DCU, all roads lead back to Jeff Johns. He's the guy who came out and said, "Oh, Joss Whedon's our secret weapon." It's like, you fucked up, dude. You fucked up royally. Even before you got hired on for Arrow and Flash, you fucked up royally. And that's all there is. That's all there is to need to be said about him. He should be forgotten. He should just go back to comics. And even then, I'm just like, you know what? Kick rocks and do independent stuff, dude. I don't even want you touching DC anymore. That's how bad of a taste that man has left in my mouth. I'm done with Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm so glad that I sold the majority of my Jeff Johns books a week ago. I'm glad about that because I don't have to look at him on my bookshelf anymore. All right, I'm done bitching about Jeff Johns. I'm done. No more.
No more Jeff Johns.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to leave more comments, so we might,
No, probably.
But what were we on before Jeff Johns? I think it was something about like
League
and who would
Snyder,
he gun bring back or not bring back? Okay.
No, well, I mean, we were talking about villains as well, about Darkseid and all that, and you have to find another big bad for your new DC universe to kind of like circle itself around. And I still think that Darkseid is going to be that villain, but I think it's going to be a villain that he's going to slowly build up, sort of what they did with the MCU, but just do it in a different way. Because I mean, that's the only bad that you have out there that's that grand of a villain that people are familiar with.
And the thing one of the things I really loved when the Snyder Cut was finally coming, we got the first trailer at a Van Dome. I just loved it. This really just read as such a flex to me on Zach's part, is that we see that trailer. The first thing he shows in that trailer is Darkseid.
Yep. That was great.
And, wasn't that some shit? It was like,
was
whoa,
awesome.
there he is, and
especially because we had seen him in like the storyboards and the wall paintings and like unfinished like CGI shots, but that was the first like real proper look we had gotten at Darkseid.
Yeah, it's funny. Like going into that trailer, I theorized. I was like, I don't think we're going to see Darkseid, but if we do, it'd probably be at the very tail end, and then like completely subverting expectations. The first shot of that trailer is fucking Darkseid. It's like,
it was amazing.
It was fantastic. It was beautiful.
And then later on, during the small trailers, when we got to see him using his Omega beams underwater, that was like, what?
Yeah.
Or Batman staying on the on the War Machine. It was just like, what's happening?
Oh yeah.
Like, where was that at? I didn't even know that was even in the movie.
And
Holy shit!
I mean, so much of like seeing that trailer and seeing the movie for the first time, it's like you just can't not have the thought in your head. It's like, why did you take this out? Why did you reshoot this? Why did you alter? Again, it goes back to the track thing I was saying a little bit ago about with Dead Man on Campus.
I actually think Droga here has a really good choice.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I thought that too. Yeah.
Vandal
I see
Savage
that
would
as a-
be dope.
It would be good. It would be a complete opposite direction of what they were going for initially with what Zach wanted to do, and I think that would actually be a really good call because Vandal Savage is a pretty lethal opponent for the Justice League, in my opinion.
But does he have it? I forget. I know he lasts forever or whatever, but does he have any like
He's immortal.
powers?
No, he's just immortal.
Other than just being immortal, he has
No,
nothing.
he's just immortal, and
So-
plenty of wealth, plenty of scheming.
Sure.
You know,
He's outlast dynasties and things like that.
If you really wanted to take Justice League in a different direction than what was done before, I would say take inspiration from Justice League Doom, where Vandal Savage is the one who actually assembles the Legion of Doom and has them all
He
go
is.
after, the Justice League Tower of Babel style.
Yeah, well, it's based on Tower of Babel, and
Yes.
that is actually one of the really good animated DC movies.
Nate Smith writes, if Lanterns is as
Except I
important
didn't like
to
the
the
Lantern
future
part.
of the DCU as it is, then it would be awesome if they used Necron, just in a different way than John's story, because it's not a
See,
direct.
that's the thing.
Blackest Night adaptation.
If you're calling for Necron, then you basically have to do Blackest Night.
Yeah,
You do. But yeah, in Doom, or was it? It wasn't Doom. It was which one was it? The one with Fat Savage.
Doom.
I did
Just say
not
Doom.
like
It was Doom. Yeah.
Green Lantern. Like, oh, I killed her. I'm fucking depressed.
Yeah.
Like that was like the worst. Like he fucking like the Flash. That was cool. It's like, oh, dude, you fucking do this, you should fucking die.
It's like you have to keep running or you die.
yes, I like that. It's kind of like the whole Keanu Reeves speed thing, right? And
Or
then you
even
had-
like Wonder Woman getting invaded by nanobites that make her see Cheetah.
they make
everywhere.
her see Cheetah everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So she's like going at a cardiac arrest, and then you have fucking Green Lantern like, I failed you. Like, fuck you, man.
Wasn't that,
Like they could do
that was
something
also
better.
that was Nathan Fillion too.
Oh yeah, which again I've made
Man.
my point also in previous streams where it's like,
Big
again going back to the wounds of jail 27th production, the history that's led to where we are. It's like, and I'm not exactly over the moon that his casting choice for Guy Gardner is Mr. I'd work with Joss Whedon again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And as Phil has said, like what have you said? It's like he cast a shitbag to play a shitbag.
Yeah, no, I mean, cast the fucking dude that played him. I mean, he was in Shazam too, but who gives a shit? From the Drew Carey show, that guy is fucking fun. He'd be amazing, Guy Gardner. I love that the personality that he brought to the animated series.
And by the way, I did want to mention real quick because what RJ mentioned a little bit ago about the SAG and AMPTP, that is apparently starting to circulate around on Twitter now. So that does seem to be. I'm sure there will be some commentary from SAG at some point in the immediate future. But yeah, that does seem to be getting out there now that their meeting didn't go well today. So the strike continues, it seems.
The strike continues, guys. That's gonna do it for the 4Nerds. I want to thank Ryan, Phil, Brad, of course, thank myself for coming out and being on the panel today.
We should be thanking you, but you didn't hear us.
It is. Let's go around the horn. Ryan, where can they find you?
Guys, you can find me on my personal channel as well as Twitter and what's the other one? TikTok. And I'm doing a comic book that I'm not really posting a whole lot of stuff on, but I'll post more. But yeah, check me out there. And if you want to check out some of the DC Universe merch, go to my TeePublic store and get yourself a t-shirt.
All right, Phil.
You guys want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, or Blue Sky Social at Unfiltered. Be on the lookout for DC United updates. We're going to we're for sure going to have the first show either next Saturday or Sunday. Haven't quite nailed down a date yet. And of course, listen to the Eternal Night wherever you get your podcast fix. That's, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio.
Sony Radio.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe. Actually, no. probably not
PSN
Sony
Radio. Brad.
All right, you guys can find me on Twitter and Vero, and I'm still on Facebook, here and there. You can also find my writing on Kung Fu Kingdom and on Screen Rant. And yeah, I'm also pretty regular on a Sci-Fi Center on Saturday evenings, and I'm kind of making the rounds on a lot of other streams now too.
And if you're into like UFOs and shit, man, because you mentioned the Sci-Fi Center, this guy over here, he hosts a show about UFOs, and you should check him out on that.
Yeah, I have a second channel called Beyond the Unknowns about UFOs, and it goes.
So he wears the tinfoil hat, and
I do.
He has a great time doing it. So
Hey, put on your best Alex Jones voice for it.
Yeah, that's there I am.
So
Right
support these guys. Go check out. Also, Phil has his DC United channel, which you can subscribe to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you
And
can. I'm
and
subscribed
subscribe to Andre's new channel, and just show some love, and you know what really helps everybody out. Show some support by posting a comment.
Except for you, Jeff Johns.
Yeah, exactly. and those are all of our handles on.
Dawson's not here. He's out fucking like just doing.
Only
He's
sharks
doing
have-
Dawson. He's fucking doing Dawson. He's
just being
he's
Dawson.
doing what he do.
And make sure you subscribe to the Nickatina Show. That's also my primary YouTube channel over on YouTube. It's actually streaming right now because we're streaming it on my channel, Ryan's channel, 4Nerds Network, and soon to be DC United.
Is it not streaming on DC?
I want to thank
thought it
everyone
was.
who came out today. If you
Well.
guys want to help support the channel, please join as a member to support the channel. We do appreciate that. And with that being said, I want to thank everyone who came out. And Ryan, you want to take us out with a final comment?
Yeah, I mean, guys, like what you like. Don't like what you don't like. Nope.